Do you remember when Daniel Tiger got so mad that he tried to take a swing at his sister and then his mom?
I am so mad!
Daniel, stop.
Hey everyone, before we get into the video, make sure to like and subscribe and leave a hype since I guess that's still a feature. You can also follow me on Instagram at MusicManMatt25 for even more FU content. So if you clicked on this video, I'm assuming you already know who this little monster is. I didn't grow up watching Daniel Tiger, but a lot of you did, and apparently most of you wish you hadn't. Long story short, you all tried to warn me how bad this brat was, but I ignored you. And now everyone and their brother has already made a video about Daniel Tiger, while I'm over here getting copyright claims from the Tibble trolls. So as usual, I'm coming in several weeks late to talk about a trend that my comments section predicted several months ago. I gotta start listening to you all more. I know I'm not the first person to talk about Daniel Tiger, but the one thing I haven't seen anyone bring up is the fact that the show's most notorious episode is a blatant ripoff of Arthur's big hit. I'm of course talking about the infamous season 3 episode entitled It's Not Okay to Hurt Someone, where the titular character gets mad at his younger sister for wrecking his toys and threatens to punch her into oblivion. Sound familiar? While many consider Arthur's big hit to be the worst episode of Arthur, Daniel Tiger somehow manages to do this exact same story, but a million times worse. So let's take a look at what's arguably the most violent episode of Daniel Tiger and see why hitting your siblings is wrong, unless they really deserve it. This video is brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. Make sure to subscribe and help get this video to 10,000 likes. Daniel Tiger is building a pretend farm in his living room while his baby sister Margaret plays with a big-nosed heifer, which is also what Daniel calls his mother behind his back. Daniel says they should take the cow back to the farm so he can quote-unquote take care of her.
Take care?
Daniel says they should put a fence up to keep the farm animals from breaking out, and insists that the farm animals will pay for it all.
Oh boy, is that looking good, Farmer Daniel.
Wait, why is Daniel the only one in his family who doesn't wear pants? I mean, his mom wears pants, his sister's got a skirt, but Daniel's just free-ranging it over here like Winnie the Pooh. The nefarious nudist decides to complete his fence with a pride-colored gate to welcome everyone into the hoedown. Margaret tries to leave the playpen, but Daniel yells at her not to knock over his epic monument of gaiety. Margaret unsurprisingly topples over the tower with her big fat baby head, and that makes Daniel so mad. And there it is, the missing half of the Michelangelo of fist memes. So you remember in Arthur's big hit where the episode spends the first third really building up to the titular punch? There was a reason for that. It was important to take time to show how a kid could justify to themselves hitting their younger sibling, even if the execution was hilariously muddled.
I told you not to touch it!
We got to see how much time and effort Arthur put into his model plane, so when it gets needlessly destroyed by this diabolical wiener, we feel Arthur's frustration and understand why he feels that bitches deserve stitches. But while that episode made us sympathize too much with Arthur's violent outburst, Daniel Tiger has the exact opposite problem. Here, Daniel spends 20 seconds making his shitty block tower, and then has a complete meltdown when it gets knocked down 20 seconds later. Like, dude, you can just build another block tower. But no, apparently his gut reaction is to beat the tar out of a baby. I probably should have worded that differently. Remember how everyone gave Arthur crap for hitting DW and pretended that they've never met DW?
But she's just a little girl. Saying DW is just a little girl is like saying a tornado is just a little wind.
Here, those comments would actually be warranted. Even 4-year-olds could tell that Margaret didn't do it on purpose. And even if she did, how can you justify hitting a baby?
Everyone hated that baby.
Hated a baby?
Thankfully, Mama Tiger steps in to keep her psychopathic son from pummeling his baby sister to a pulp, and judging by the tone of her voice, this clearly isn't the first time he's pulled this crap.
Daniel, you cannot hurt your sister.
So after what Daniel just tried to do to Margaret, what do you think his mother does? Does she A, ground him for life, B, ship him off to the zoo, or C, sing a goddamn song?
It's not okay to hurt someone.
Okay, but is it not okay to poach Daniel Tiger out of existence? Daniel refuses to apologize, as he's still mad at his sister for knocking over his blocks.
I worked so hard to make it.
What the f are you talking about? You spent less than a minute putting it together. Now if it was a model plane, that'd be a completely different story.
That makes me so mad. Grr.
What the hell is that? Is that supposed to be your angry voice?
Grr.
You sound like a prepubescent lawnmower. Daniel's mother continues with her sappy song and even gets her son to sing along. But I'm not gonna play that for you. One, because I don't want to listen to it anymore, and also because I can't afford any more copyright claims right now. Daniel's mother points out what should be incredibly obvious, which is that Margaret was just trying to get to her panda toy and clearly didn't mean to knock over his crappy block tower. She says that Margaret is just a baby who quote-unquote loves to play with her big brother. Bullshit. Mama Tiger helps Daniel rebuild his tacky little fence, while singing the worst rendition of Old MacDonald I've ever heard.
E-I-E-I-O.
Nope.
She says it's time for lunch, but Daniel Tiger wants to play. He uses the barnyard toys to project his inner rage onto his cow and horse. It turns out the cow is mad that the horse wouldn't share his carrot, even though Daniel gave each animal their own food. Looks like even Daniel's toys know how to play the victim when they're clearly in the wrong. The cow is about to throw hooves with the horse when Daniel remembers the stupid little song his mom taught him and manages to calm down. He solves the problem that he created by making the cow and horse share the carrot, even though, again, the cow has her own damn food. Daniel, how do you f up your own moral that badly? Things get even dumber when Daniel decides to give his farm toys a bath in the washroom sink. There's no way this could possibly go wrong. Daniel then sings another damn song, which I'm also not going to play for copyright purposes. Just trust me, it's really bad. I will point out that Daniel washes every animal toy except for the chickens, but I guess they were just low on the pecking order.
Wasn't that terrific?
You can't just make up your own words. You're not Shakespeare, or even Dr. Seuss for that matter.
Wasn't that terrific?
Stop trying to make horrific happen, Daniel. Daniel's mother calls him down for lunch, but the careless kitten insists on first clogging the sink in the name of giving his toys a bath. Mama Tiger is rightfully worried her son will flood the bathroom, and turns off the water just in time. She reminds her son he's not allowed to play with water without a grown-up nearby, though I feel like most grown-ups wouldn't try to save him if he started drowning. Mama Tiger tells Daniel he can give his toys a bath after lunch, but Daniel wants to give him a bath now.
Mom, I'm so mad!
Oh no, looks like he's getting angry again. But he wouldn't try to hit his mom, would he?
Mom!
Do it, I fucking dare you. Even Daniel's mom looks like she's thinking, boy, if you don't put your hands down right now, I'm gonna bury your dumbass right next to Mr. Rogers. Daniel saves himself from a lifetime of ass whoopings by singing the angry song. Again. He admits he was mad at his mom, but stopped himself from hitting her, even though he really wanted to. Okay, but like, your mom has way more reason to be mad at you for all the crap you've pulled, but you don't see her trying to beat your ass. Yet, Mama Tiger tells the wannabe Norman Bates that she's proud of him for not going full psycho on her. She agrees to help him wash his toys after lunch, right after she washes out his mouth with a bar of soap. We then get another damn song sequence, where Daniel says there are lots of ways to deal with anger and stress, like beating your bongos blue or squeezing your stuffy tight. And I mean, he's not wrong. Daniel asks the audience how they deal with anger.
What do you do when you get angry?
Well, if you're like me, you make videos ranting about bratty cartoon babies and try to turn that into a sustainable career. The episode ends on a lighter note with Daniel trying to molest the audience.
Ugga mugga.
You know, I feel like if Mr. Rogers could see how PBS bastardized one of his beloved characters, he wouldn't stop spinning in his grave. It's okay to feel mad sometimes, children. Like when I look at this parasitic puffball, I just turn into a white-hot ball of rage. I'm sorry for raising my voice, children. Let's review. Daniel Tiger got mad at his baby sister for accidentally knocking down his dumb little block tower and threatened to punch her lights out. He only stopped because his mom intervened and never actually apologized to baby Margaret for nearly assaulting her. He then tried to flood the bathroom by giving his toys a bath, and nearly hit his mother after she told him to cut the crap. And while Daniel may not have hit anyone in this episode, it's only a matter of time before he goes full Siegfried and Roy on some sap. Daniel Tiger can get poached. Have you ever noticed how Daniel Tiger is always starting beef with his one black friend?
If you don't move...
Race war!
Hey everyone, I'd figured I'd make a follow-up to my last Daniel Tiger video, since everyone in the cartoon community is still riding high on the Daniel hate train, and understandably so. So when looking through the episodes that people consider the worst of the worst, I noticed a rather disturbing pattern. The two people who get the brunt of Daniel's wrath are Daniel's baby sister Margaret and his schoolmate Miss Elena. Now while Daniel is definitely a jerk to his other friends, time and again he consistently singles out Miss Elena anytime he's looking to start some crap, which is rather odd if not downright malicious. So today, I want to take a look at the racist episodes of Daniel Tiger. So let's start things off with the episode where Daniel almost started a race war over an egg salad sandwich. It's lunchtime at Daniel Tiger's school. Daniel's dad packed his lunch, along with a note that shows how Daniel always has egg on his face. Turns out Daniel's dad packed him an egg salad sandwich, or as his dad likes to call it, excellent egg salad. I didn't realize Mr. Tiger was a regular show fan.
Your choice is excellent.
Daniel says he's so excited to eat the sandwich. Seems the episode has one yolk it's gonna fry into the ground. Everyone gathers up for lunch, and Prince Wednesday takes his sweet-ass time giving everyone their lunchbox.
The ballet lunchbox is for...
Come on, Wednesday, we don't have all day. The episode's only 4 minutes long. Daniel opens his lunchbox, where we see the most revolting sandwich ever put on screen since the Nasty Patty. Looks like Daniel Tiger's dad forgot to include an ice pack in his son's lunchbox, which means he's had a room-temperature egg salad sandwich stewing in his lunchbox all morning. Gross. The stale sandwich stench is so strong that Miss Elena nearly loses her lunch. Miss Elena says she doesn't like egg salad, and Daniel's stinky sandwich isn't making things any better. The overly sensitive feline acts like his best friend just spat in his face. face and wastes no time making himself look like the victim.
How would you feel if your friends said that they didn't like your lunch?
Why would you care? It's your lunch. It's not like they're the one who's going to be eating it. Daniel tells Miss Elena she hurt his feelings. Miss Elena tells him to get over himself and warns him not to eat the sandwich unless he wants to get food poisoning. It turns out Daniel Tiger is a big fat rat as he tattles on Miss Elena to their teacher. He claims Miss Elena is being mean, even though all she did was make an honest, non-malicious comment about Daniel's nasty-ass lunch. Instead of ignoring Daniel's needy little outburst, the teacher tells Miss Elena to consider things from Daniel's perspective.
How do you think you might feel if Daniel said he didn't like your yogurt?
Again, why would you care? Just eat your own lunch and mind your own damn business. Miss Elena apologizes for hurting Daniel's feelings, as they agree that both their lunches are separate but equal. The episode ends right before Daniel takes the first bite of the sandwich, as I imagine the rest of the episode would have been about Daniel hugging the toilet with his knees. Let's review. Daniel Tiger brought the worst smelling lunch to school and immediately got offended when his friend pointed out that it had clearly gone bad. He acted like a butthurt little buffoon and snitched on Miss Elena to their teacher, and even after he got an unearned apology, he never actually took a bite of the sandwich in question. But that's still not as bad as the time Daniel tried to attack Miss Elena because he couldn't sit next to his crush. Daniel is playing restaurant with Chrissy, and Miss Elena has been delegated to the role of server. 20 seconds in, and we're already off to a bad start. Daniel also decides to be a waiter, while Chrissy pretends to be Queen Sillawilla.
The silliest queen in all the land.
Oh, so she's that kind of girl. Miss Elena is about to bring Chrissy her pretend lunch when Daniel insists that he should bring it to her. He tries to steal the serving tray from Miss Elena, but stops once he realizes he can be the chef instead. Though I wouldn't eat anything made by a chef who doesn't wear pants. Daniel makes Chrissy some purple polka dot pancakes. He tries to bring the food to her until Miss Elena reminds him that's not his job. Daniel freaks out at Miss Elena for doing what a waiter is supposed to do, and yells at her for not letting him take Chrissy's order or bring her the pancakes. Because that's her job, jackass.
You're not letting me do anything.
What are you talking about? You're the one who made the damn pancakes. He then threatens her with his weak-ass baby growl.
Grr!
A very weak threat, but still a threat nonetheless. Thankfully, Daniel's teacher intervenes before he has the chance to call Miss Elena something you can't say on PBS. The teacher tells the kids to gather up for circle time, and Daniel says he wants to sit next to Chrissy. Ooh. The flirtatious feline tries to make a pass at Chrissy and ends up losing his spot to Miss Elena. Daniel nearly squishes his friend under his big fat ass and then yells at her for stealing his spot.
I want to sit next to Chrissy.
Motherfucker, I didn't hear you call dibs. Instead of moving this free chair to the open spot next to Chrissy, Daniel tries to push Miss Elena out of her seat.
Miss Elena, move! Stop pushing me!
Daniel fails to move Miss Elena from her chair. As it turns out, he's all bark and no bite. Come to think of it, he doesn't have much of a bark either.
Grr!
Miss Elena tells Daniel to get lost, and that's when this cranky cub goes feral.
If you don't move, grr!
You know, as bad as this scene is, part of me wishes they actually showed him ramming into Miss Elena. Not because I want to see him start a race war, but because we all know he's so weak that he'd probably just fall flat on his ass. The teacher stops Daniel from committing a feline felony, and tells him it's not okay to hurt people. Where have I seen this before?
It's not okay to hurt someone.
Oh god damn it, not this stupid song again. How many adults on this show had to learn this tacky tune just to keep Daniel from mauling every kid who crosses his sociopath? Daniel tries to tattle on Miss Elena like the little snitch he is. He says Miss Elena stole his seat, even though she clearly got there first. Daniel says he just wants to sit by Chrissy so they can play, even though they were just playing 2 minutes ago. Daniel gets so worked up that he tries to lunge at Miss Elena from across the room. What the hell was he trying to do there? Choke her to death with a force? Daniel stops himself at the last second and pats himself on the back for not committing a hate crime. Miss Elena comes up with a solution by moving the empty chair so they can both sit next to Chrissy. Gee, I never would have thought of that. Instead of moving this free chair to the open spot next to Chrissy. Also, after what Chrissy just witnessed, I don't think she'll want to sit next to Daniel anytime soon. The class decides to play a game of freeze dance, and Daniel ends up moving to the opposite side of the circle, which completely defeats the whole point of him trying to sit next to Chrissy in the first place. The class then heads outside, and Daniel gets into another scrap, this time with Prince Wednesday over the bouncy ball. The prince raises his fist at Daniel, but stops himself from giving the terrible tiger exactly what he deserves. Damn, maybe next time. Let's review. Daniel Tiger spent the whole episode yelling at Miss Elena because she kept him from talking to his crush. He tried to usurp her role as a waiter, and then threatened to push her out of her seat just so he could be closer to a girl who probably wants nothing to do with him. He only managed to calm down after singing his stupid little song. When he finally did get to sit next to Chrissy, he spent the entire circle terrible time trying to move as far away from her as possible, which makes all his bitching and moaning look that much more pointless. Daniel Tiger was such a bad influence on his peers that his other friends tried to take a swing at him, though unlike before, this would actually be justified. But that's still not as bad as the time Daniel ruined Miss Elena's painting. Daniel's class is painting life-size portraits of themselves, and it looks like the cops are still trying to solve Miss Elena's murder. I'll give you one guess who the culprit is. The teacher traces outlines of Daniel and Miss Elena, and gives them open jars of paint to color them in. I don't see how this could possibly go wrong. Daniel paints his face to match the president's. He's about to paint his signature sweater, but it looks like Miss Elena is already using the red paint. Instead of asking politely for the paint, Daniel tells her to hand it over. Miss Elena tells him to wait a damn minute, but Daniel hates waiting.
How do you feel when you have to wait?
Dude, it's been less than a minute. Calm down. Instead of trying to paint any other part of his body, Daniel pesters his friend every 2 seconds to get the red paint from her.
Now? No. Now. No. Now?
If you don't shut up, you're gonna have to paint your eyes black and blue. Miss Elena finally finishes with the red, but accidentally drops it on Daniel's portrait. Daniel yells at her for ruining his painting, even though his shoes are also red, so I don't know what he's bitching about. Miss Elena apologizes for dropping the paint, but Daniel is so mad. The cranky klutz accidentally tears Miss Elena's portrait with his giant feet, which ends up pushing her over the edge.
I'm mad at you, Daniel!
Yes, please, knock him out. Sadly, the teacher puts a stop to the fight before Daniel can get the ass whooping he desperately deserves. Daniel claims he didn't mean to tear Miss Elena's portrait, though he doesn't seem that torn up about it.
Do you think Miss Elena is still my friend?
Daniel, I don't think you two were ever friends. The teacher says it's normal for friends to be mad at each other, and tells them to hug and make up. I'm sure that'll keep Daniel from being a jerk in the future. The two apologize for wrecking each other's paintings, and work together to fix them. Daniel realizes the splotch of red actually matches his shoe color, meaning he freaked out at his friend for no good reason. Daniel finishes his monstrous self-portrait, while Miss Elena uses up the rest of the black paint. For her hair, obviously. Let's review. Daniel Tiger got impatient with his friend when she wouldn't let him use the red paint. He pestered her constantly and flipped out when she accidentally spilled the paint on his portrait. He then tried to ruin her painting before realizing she didn't actually mess up his portrait in the first place, which means he had absolutely no reason to be mad at her. And while any one of these incidents would be bad enough on their own, the fact that Daniel repeatedly targets Miss Elena can only mean one thing. Daniel Tiger is a racist. We already know Daniel Tiger hates Miss Elena, but what if I told you there was another black kid on the show for this terrible tiger to torment?
I want to play with him. No.
Hey everyone. Now, most cartoon YouTubers, including myself, have already pointed out Daniel Tiger's blatant discrimination toward Miss Elena.
If you don't move...
But while looking through the show's ever-growing roster of characters, I discovered that there's a second black kid in Daniel Tiger's class whom he treats even worse than Miss Elena.
Clang, clang, clang.
So make sure to hit that subscribe button and let's delve right in. It's circle time at Daniel Tiger's preschool, and the frenetic furball sets his sights on his newest target. Teacher Harriet introduces the class to her nephew Max, and the kids are shocked to find that there's more than 2 black people in the Daniel Tiger universe.
You're an aunt?
I'm a teacher and an aunt.
I don't really see what those two things have to do with each other, but let's move on. Teacher Harriet says she thought it'd be a good idea to introduce Max to the other kids, because I guess she really hates her nephew.
I'm a teacher and an aunt.
And you're clearly bad at being both. The kids try to introduce themselves to Max, and almost immediately things go off the rails. It turns out Max is sensitive to loud noises, and Daniel Tiger's ear-grating voice isn't making things any better. Also, I want to point out here that Daniel is the first one to notice Max being overstimulated, even before his own aunt catches on. That'll be important to remember for later in the episode. Teacher Harriet explains that Max is autistic, and doesn't do well around crowds or loud noises. So you thought bringing him to a preschool would make him more comfortable? She gives Max his weighted blanket to help him calm down.
Are you cold?
Motherfucker, does he look cold to you? Teacher Harriet tries to help Max introduce himself to the other kids, who continue to scream in his ears.
Hey, that's me.
Guys, the teacher just told you to cut that shit out. The teacher tells the kids to back off and shut up. Looking at you, Daniel. Turns out Max is a big fan of beetles, buses, and beetle buses. Daniel opens his big fat mouth, and Max instinctively tries to get as far away as possible from him. Good instincts, Max. The teacher lets the kids have free time, and Daniel goes hunting for Max so they can play. The pushy pussy proceeds to pester the poor pupil, while Max does his best to ignore the needy narcissist. Daniel is flabbergasted that someone doesn't want to play with him. Instead of respecting Max's boundaries, Daniel proceeds to dump his own toys right next to Max. Daniel decides to build a block tower, because we all know how well that went last time. Daniel continues to bother Max, refusing to leave him alone until he agrees to play. Like, dude, take the hint.
Why isn't Max answering me?
Daniel goes crying to teacher Harriet that her nephew is an asshole. Takes one to know one, Daniel. The teacher reminds him that Max needs more time to open up to new friends. Though I think we can all agree Max would be better off giving Daniel the boot. Max says he likes playing with buses, but Daniel says he wants to play with blocks, and tries to make Max play with his block castle instead. Max ignores Daniel, and the callous cub tries to get the teacher to force her nephew to play with him.
Why does Max keep talking about buses? I want him to play castle with me.
Well, it's not always about you, Daniel. Just because it's your show, that doesn't mean you get to decide what everyone does. Let someone else pick a game for once. Teacher Harriet explains that when Max is really excited about something, he'll only want to talk about that one thing over and over. Gee, I wouldn't know anything about that.
If Max just wants to talk about
Buses?
does that mean he can't play with me?
Why the hell would it mean that? I'm not saying you should play together, but you're really telling me you can't stand playing with anyone who likes anything different from what you like? For God's sakes, Daniel, pull your head out of your ass. Teacher Harriet tells Daniel to think of a compromise, even though he's clearly never heard that word once in his life. Daniel tears down his block castle to make a bus station instead, and the treacherous tiger tricks Max into playing with him. Guess how long it takes Daniel to f it up.
Clang, clang, clang.
Dude, what the hell? Dude, what the hell? Now, you might think that this was just a simple mistake on Daniel Tiger's part, but remember, Daniel was the first to notice Max's sensitivity to sound earlier in the episode, so it's not like he didn't already know not to make loud noises around him.
Oh, clang, clang, clang.
So if you think Max's introductory episode was a show, just wait till you find out what happens when Daniel Tiger decides to bully him and baby Margaret at the park.
Commercial break!
Daniel Tiger is at the park with Katarina Kitty Cat and his baby sister Margaret. The trio are pretending to be planes. Let me repeat, they're not pretending to fly planes, they're pretending to be the planes. I mean, seriously, who would want to watch a cartoon about talking planes?
JJ the jet plane.
Wait, that was a real show? I thought that was just a lucid fever dream. Daniel decides to go down the slide and cruelly leaves his baby sister crying at the bottom of the stairs. Instead of trying to help her get up the stairs, Daniel ignores Margaret's cries for help so he can play without her, like an asshole. Daniel heads down the sun-baked plastic slide on his bare ass, and presumably gets the worst friction burn imaginable.
It burns, it burns, it burns, it burns! Ah!
Baby Margaret burst into tears, and Daniel is too dense to understand why his baby sister is upset.
Why is Margaret crying?
Why do you think, jackass? Daniel tells Margaret she can only play with him if she climbs up the steps, and watches sadistically as she falls on her ass trying to please her demanding older brother. Daniel's mom says they should find a way for everyone to play.
We can find a way for everyone to play.
Daniel begrudgingly agrees to let Margaret play with him by keeping their imaginary planes out of the air and on the ground. I didn't realize they were pretending to be Delta Airlines.
We're Delta Airlines, and life is a fucking nightmare.
Captain Daniel, flying right behind you.
I trust Captain Morgan to pilot a plane better than Daniel Tiger. Just then, Daniel spots Max and his big sister Amira. Wow, in just 2 episodes, the black community on Daniel Tiger has doubled.
She's a big sister.
And you're a big pussy. Daniel goes to talk to Max, who we see is clearly pissed off that he has to interact with this little twat outside of school. Daniel continues to pester Max and Amira with his endless barrage of stupid questions.
What's that stripy thing?
Bitch, have you never seen a skateboard before? Amira says Max has told her all about Daniel, which can never be a good sign.
Hey, Max. Your friends came over to say hi.
Girl, those are definitely not his friends. Max agrees to let Katarina play the xylophone with him, since she's not a whiny little attention whore. At least not in this episode anyway. Daniel is jealous that he doesn't get to play on the xylophone. Instead of waiting a damn minute for one of them to share, Daniel tries to butt in on Max and Katarina's duet.
I want to play the xylophone too. There are only 2 sticks.
You know, Daniel, I would say 3 is a crowd, but even with you, 2 is bad company. Daniel storms off, but not before letting out the most pathetic growl I've ever heard.
Grrr.
Daniel proceeds to snitch on Max to his older sister, claiming it's not fair that he can't play with him. He acts like Max owes him his time, and Amira resists the urge to beat the shit out of this little shit. Amira convinces Daniel to dance along to the xylophone so they can all play together, which would be nice if Daniel didn't immediately steal Katarina's spot on the xylophone the second she lets her guard down. This leads into a song sequence that directly rips off the most iconic scene from Big. Daniel sings about the joys of playing with his feet, and the episode ends before Dan Schneider has a chance to sing along. Let's review. Daniel Tiger repeatedly harassed and badgered his new classmate to play with him, even though he clearly had no desire to be Daniel's friend. Daniel continued to pester Max in his futile quest to prove he has more than one black friend. He repeatedly triggered Max's sensitivity issues and immediately got jealous when he made friends with other kids. And when his baby sister actually did want to play with him, Daniel left her crying in the dust like the mean older brother he's always been. And while Max may have not gotten the worst of Daniel Tiger's wrath in these episodes, I think we can all agree Daniel Tiger is a big fat bully. Do you remember when Daniel Tiger went to the hospital and had to be put down for his own good?
We are here to help you get better.
Hey everyone, first of all, thank you to everyone who watched my last Daniel Tiger video. I mean, seriously, holy crap. I know my last couple Daniel Tiger videos did pretty well, but we reached 250,000 views in just 3 days. This is also how I found out about YouTube's new hype feature, which I'm still not entirely sure how that works, but I'm glad I got featured in the top 100 before it gets completely taken over by bots and AI channels. I was surprised to see just how many autistic viewers resonated with the video, which I guess makes sense considering the episodes I covered specifically feature an autistic character. And yeah, as many of you in the comments pointed out, I probably should have called the video Daniel Tiger is an ableist. But hey, what can you do? So in the first Daniel Tiger video I ever made, I talked about how one of the show's most infamous episodes is a blatant ripoff of Arthur's big hit.
I am so mad! I told you not to touch it!
Since then, I've been looking for other episodes to cover that are direct knockoffs of much better kids shows, and I'm pleased to report I found an episode that's an exact copy of not just one, but 2 iconic PBS cartoons. I'm specifically referring to the season 5 episode, Daniel Tiger Goes to the Hospital. In this episode, we see Daniel Tiger is nervous about going to the hospital to deal with his ear infection. And if that story setup sounds familiar, it's because they already did this exact same plotline in Operation DW and Caillou Visits the Doctor, both of which I've already covered on FUDW and FU Caillou respectively. So today, I want to go through all 3 of these episodes to see which brat had the worst hospital visit, and which of them deserve to be put down for good. Call it a battle of the brats, if you will. I don't think anyone else is using that title right now. So hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and leave a hype, I guess, and let's delve right in. Daniel Tiger is sick as a dog. Daniel reveals he has a sore throat, which is clearly a symptom of an ear infection. His doctor says Daniel needs to come in for an operation so he can get fixed. So he can get his ears fixed. Daniel says he doesn't want to go to the hospital, even though it's his own damn fault for cramming God knows what into his ear holes.
Did you ever have to go to the hospital?
Yeah, I'm going there after this episode so I can get my ears removed so I don't have to listen to your naggy little voice, Daniel. Daniel says he doesn't know a damn thing about surgery, so his parents walk him through every aspect of the hospital. But wait, they're tigers, so shouldn't they be going to the vet? Daniel starts to panic when he learns his normal doctor won't be the one doing the operation.
Tiggy doesn't know Dr. Lee either.
You don't say. Daniel starts to get suspicious when he finds out the doctor will be putting him to sleep for the surgery, and if they're a good doctor, they'll make sure Daniel never wakes up. So let's compare the opening of this episode to Operation DW. In that episode, we get a bit of time with the big-eared brat to see how her infection is affecting her day-to-day life before the show outright explains what's wrong with DW, or at least what's wrong with her ears. I've been trying to explain what's wrong with DW for the past 3 years, and I'm still just scratching the surface. In Daniel's case, the titular tiger just spells out what's wrong with him right from the get-go without any build-up or tension. So even though the show is telling us Daniel needs surgery, we don't fully understand why. Do his ears hurt? Is he having trouble hearing? The show never tells us. For all we know, Daniel is just being a little crybaby like he always is. In less than a minute, Arthur is able to explain what a hearing infection is, show how it affects your hearing, and demonstrate the importance of the surgery. Daniel Tiger's episodes are twice as long as Arthur's, but they can't be bothered to take 1 second to explain why we should care about Daniel going to the hospital. Daniel takes his stuffed animal and his grandfather's seashell music box with him to the hospital, along with a change of clothes, which seems rather pointless since he wears the same damn sweater in every episode. The Tiger family takes the sentient trolley to the hospital, where Daniel is surprised to be in a building that isn't his house or school.
Have you ever been in an elevator?
Daniel, who do you know that has never been on an elevator? They get to the pediatric ward, and Daniel immediately has a crap attack.
The lights are so bright here.
He says the lights are too bright and all the loud noises are giving him a headache. Oh, so you do know what sensory overload is. Daniel starts whining that he wants to go home, which feels like it comes right the hell out of nowhere. I mean, he was so gung-ho about the surgery 10 seconds ago, and now he's acting like he's about to get his balls chopped off. At least when Caillou went to the doctor, they made it clear from the beginning that this little bald brat was scared shitless the moment he walked into the lobby.
I don't want to see the doctor, Mommy.
Admittedly, Caillou had a much bigger freakout when he got to the hospital. He's so scared that he tries to run away by hiding in his mom's vagina. But again, that episode took the time to show why Caillou was nervous about going to the doctor. So when he eventually does have a full meltdown, It doesn't feel like it comes out of nowhere. Similarly, a good chunk of Operation DW is spent showing the days leading up to DW's operation. We see how she struggles with her feelings about the surgery before her family reassures her everything will be okay. With Daniel Tiger, he freaks out for 10 seconds and then calms down when his parents tell him to cut the crap. Such a riveting scene. Daniel introduces himself and his plush toy to the pediatric nurse, and hold up, that is the exact same plushie as Caillou's, but it's just a different species. Daniel Tiger isn't even trying to hide the fact that it's a ripoff. They get to Daniel's room and the cranky gub is annoyed that it doesn't look like his bedroom.
This doesn't look like my room at home.
What the hell were you expecting, Daniel? It's a hospital, not Airbnb. The nurse asks Daniel if he wants a gown with stars or ducks. I mean, stars, obviously.
I choose duckies.
Boo, boo, Daniel. Bad choice. Daniel draws the curtain so he can change into his hospital gown, which seems rather pointless since he's already naked below the waist. I mean, God forbid we see his nipples. The nurse gives him a wristband to wear during the operation.
It's kind of like wearing a watch.
Only this watch tells the time of your death. The nurse then takes his measurements, and Daniel Tiger is so fat that when he steps on the scale, it just says to be continued. Okay, that might have been uncalled for, but if I'm being honest, this part of the episode is just really boring. This episode is over 22 minutes long, and it does not know how to fill that time. For a point of reference, Operation DW is half the length of this episode, and they managed to show DW getting diagnosed, the build-up to her hospital stay, and the aftermath of her surgery all within 11 minutes. Hell, Caillou Visits the Doctor is only 4 minutes long, and it still tells a complete story with an epilogue. This episode of Daniel Tiger could have easily been boiled down to 11 minutes without missing a beat. Or if they still wanted to make it the full half hour, they could have shown what happened to Daniel before he found out he needed surgery, so we could better understand why we should care about it in the first place. But since 90% of this episode is spent at the hospital, we're left with these long, uncomfortably drawn out scenes of all the mundane crap you have to deal with at every doctor's appointment. I get that the episode is trying to normalize hospitals for kids, but I feel like kids would be way too bored to sit through this entire episode. And even if they did pay attention, they'd then be worried the hospital was going to bore them to death. The doctor explains that she's going to put Daniel to sleep for the duration of the surgery. Daniel says he had better wake up, otherwise Katarina Kitty Cat will be in charge of the show. And I don't think any of us want that. The doctor promises to take care of Daniel, and then takes him away to be taken care of. They wheel him into the operating room and promptly put him under so they can bring in the taxidermists. The doctor tells him to think of all the people that make him happy, and Daniel lists himself 3 times in a row. Daniel finally passes out and has a dream where he sails the ocean in a seashell. Who cares? Daniel wakes up from the operation. Damn, the tiresome tiger is in such a rush to get home that he forgets to change out of his hospital gown, even though, again, he's already naked below the waist. The episode ends before we see the Tiger family get their $50,000 hospital bill, and the doctor's getting sued for malpractice for operating on a wild animal. So as you can see, not only is this episode of Daniel Tiger a blatant ripoff, but it's also inferior to its competitors in every way. Don't believe me? Let's review. The episode featured a whiny little brat who had to go to the doctor to deal with an ear infection. They brought along their favorite stuffed animal to help them get through the ordeal, but still freaked out once they got to the actual hospital. They tried to put off the surgery until their parents convinced them that there was nothing to worry about. They ended up getting put under for ear surgery and proceeded to have a very stupid dream. And when all was said and done, they decided to annoy the crap out of their family by playing doctor at home, which feels like a malpractice suit waiting to happen. F-U-D-W. I mean, F you, Caillou. I mean, fuck you, Daniel Tiger. Do you remember when Daniel Tiger gave his autistic friend a panic attack?
No.
Hey everyone, so after talking about Max in a couple of Daniel Tiger episodes, a lot of you in the comments pointed out that Arthur also has an openly autistic character, who we first meet in the season 13 episode when Carl met George. Kinda weird they named the episode after a movie that features this iconic scene.
Yes!
But hey, you do you, PBS.
I'll have what she's having.
Since I've already talked about Max's inaugural episode, today I thought it'd be interesting to compare an episode of Daniel Tiger where Max has an anxiety attack to the episode of Arthur where Carl has an anxiety attack. Guess which show ends up dropping the ball?
No.
So let's start things off with a Daniel Tiger episode, A New Friend at the Clock Factory, where the ferocious furball ends up ruining clocks for his best friend. Daniel Tiger is on his way to the clock factory to celebrate Neighborhood Clock Day, which sounds like a more useless holiday than Leif Erikson Day. He shows off the tiger clock he made with his dad, since I guess they're both suckers for clocks. The two clock suckers are excited to unveil the new clock Daniel's dad designed for chime time. Daniel wonders if his dad designed a cuckoo clock, and then does the world's worst impression of the cuckoo clock of doom. Cuckoo! Yeah, don't scare me like that, Daniel. Daniel then sings a song about what it'd be like to live inside a clock, which doubles as the anthem for the world's most toxic platform. Too bad we don't get to see what would happen if they actually tried to stuff Daniel Tiger inside a clock. The trolley stops to pick up teacher Harriet and her nephew Max. Daniel gets annoyed when Max doesn't say hi back, and snitches on him to his dad.
Dad, Max didn't say hi back to me.
Daniel, we just went over this in the last episode, you little tattletale. Teacher Harriet reminds Daniel that Max needs more time to get comfortable around others, which is what she already told his forgetful ass the first time Daniel met him. Now let's compare this to the opening of when Carl met George, to see how making friends with autistic kids isn't nearly as difficult as Daniel Tiger makes it out to be. George and Carl are hanging out in his room. George shows off his drawing of a lion, and Carl says it looks like shit.
It's brown. I hate brown.
Still not as bad as Daniel Tiger's design. George says he likes Carl because of how honest he is. He's also impressed that Carl can draw trains from memory.
Once you get Carl talking about trains, it can be hard to get him to stop.
He's autistic, George. Of course Carl fucking loves trains. You ever been to a day out with Thomas? That's like autistic Disneyland. So right off the bat, we see that George is a much better friend to Carl than Daniel is to Max. In just 1 minute, George has shown more kindness and empathy to Carl than Daniel has to anyone in his entire life. Carl straight up told George that he hated his drawing, but the modest moose took it in stride because he understood that Carl didn't mean it as an insult. Comparatively, Daniel Tiger got all bent out of shape because Max didn't say hello to him. Now I fully understand that a 4-year-old isn't going to have the same social skills as someone twice his age, but if Daniel Tiger gets this upset when someone doesn't say hi to him, how do you think he'll react when Max tells him his tiger clock looks like cat shit? Let's continue with the episode to see how George first met his train-loving best friend. We see George's dad leading a woodworking class at the community center when he suddenly runs out of glue. George goes to the computer lab to find a bottle of wood glue, as one does when he spots a kid making a puzzle of a train.
Cool spaceship.
George, what kind of wonky horizontal rocket ships have you been looking at? Wait, don't answer that. George introduces himself to Carl, who says he prefers drinking apple juice out of a box, which I think we can all agree is the only correct way to drink apple juice. George takes an instant liking to Carl, but isn't quite sure why he doesn't make eye contact or understand his slang terms.
You're pulling my leg. No, I'm not. I'm doing a puzzle.
George assumes Carl is just joking around, and accidentally bumps one of the puzzle pieces into his pocket. Uh-oh, that's not good. So yeah, it goes without saying, but George's introduction to Carl is leagues better than Daniel's introduction to Max, and you've already heard my thoughts on that episode. While George doesn't yet fully understand why Carl acts the way he does, he's still friendly and tries to meet Carl on his level. He doesn't just try to force him to play with him, unlike someone else I know. Now let's get back to Daniel Tiger to see how Max reacts when his so-called friend tries to push him out of his comfort zone. Spoiler alert, it doesn't go well. Max is excited to see the clock factory, and why shouldn't he be? It's a whole building dedicated to clocks. What's not to love? Though it would probably be better if he didn't have this loudmouth leech sucking up all his social energy the entire time. Daniel's dad leads the kids inside the factory, where we see Daniel featured in not 1, not 2, but 5 different clocks. Glad to know nepotism is alive and well in the neighborhood. Miss Elena shows off her rocket-themed clock, and Max finally starts to feel comfortable around his friends. He joins in counting down the launch of her clock rocket, which gets ruined when Daniel Tiger screams in his ear.
Blast off!
Come on, Daniel, use your indoor voice for Pete's sake. Prince Wednesday shows off his rock clock, right before Daniel leads the other kids in a chant making fun of Max's stimming.
Rock clock, tick tock, clock, tick tock.
Okay, maybe they're not directly making fun of him, but you could see how this could be in bad taste. Daniel tells Max to hand over his clock to his dad, but Max is like, "Fuck you, this is my bus clock." Daniel again tattles on Max to his dad, who tells him to mind his own business. Teacher Harriet says Max can hang up his clock when he's damn well good and ready. Chime time is about to start, so Teacher Harriet gives Max his headphones. The other kids ask if they can wear the headphones, but Teacher Harriet explains Max needs them to prevent sensory overload. Chime time starts, and Max immediately experiences sensory overload.
No.
Daniel doesn't understand why Max isn't having any fun.
Look at all the clocks. You love clocks.
Yeah, no shit, Daniel. We all know Max loves clocks, trains, bugs, and automobiles. That's like the 4 pillars of autism. Daniel's dad stops the celebration, and Teacher Harriet takes Max outside so he can recover. Maybe bringing an autistic child to an event with loud music and flashing lights wasn't such a good idea. Was it, Teacher Harriet? So yeah, this is easily the most bungled example of sensory overload I've ever seen. Not just on a kid's show, but in any show or movie ever.
Music, it's okay. Ouch, she's hitting me.
Okay, maybe not any movie ever. I usually blame Daniel for crap like this, but this time it's the adults who are in the wrong. Part of the blame goes to Daniel's father for triggering Max's sensory issues with his chime time celebration, but more than anyone else, Teacher Harriet is clearly the one at fault. As Max's aunt, she understands her nephew better than anyone and knows what he can and cannot handle. She knew what chime time entailed, but utterly failed to fully prepare her nephew for everything that might cause him to have an anxiety attack. I get that she wants her nephew to have friends his own age, but do you really think Max will want to have friends if he's only around them in situations that make him uncomfortable? I know she can't protect Max from everything that makes him upset, but you need to at least meet him in the middle if you want him to enjoy being around others. Now let's go back to Arthur to see how you should react when an autistic child has a panic attack. George discovers he accidentally took home a piece of Carl's train puzzle. The next day, George finds Carl at the community center with his mom, who reveals Carl hasn't stopped talking about him since they met. Ooh. George introduces Carl to his dummy Wally, and the poor boy is rightfully terrified of the bottlenecked Beelzebub.
Hiya, Carl. I'm Wally. Wanna be friends?
Seriously, why'd they have to give this motherfucker teeth? Carl has a panic attack, and his mother jumps in to help him through it.
There, sweetie. It's all right.
This woman doesn't even have a name, and she's already the best parent on the show. Carl's mom explains that her son has Asperger's syndrome. And yeah, I know this episode came out before that term was changed, but it's still weird to hear a kid show refer to autism as Nazi euthanasia doctor syndrome. Carl's mom says she has the situation under control, and George runs off, leaving a trail of apologies behind him. George heads to the Brain's ice cream parlor to drown his woes in a fruit smoothie that's 2% fruit and 98% soy milk. Gross. Also, what the hell are ananas? The Brain reveals his uncle is also autistic, and has gone on to have a very lucrative career as a physicist. The Brain elaborates how his uncle told him that being autistic is like living on a planet that's not quite like Earth, where everyone talks way too loudly and uses terms you've never heard of.
Good night for a banana fight, right?
Fun fact, a banana fight is also what Arthur's dad and Mr. Ratburn call their secret date nights. The Brain says it's typical for atypicals to become hyper-fixated on one thing as they try to make friends and adjust to the world around them.
You look very creamy today.
The Brain finishes his analogy by giving George a smoothie that's somehow both runny and super chunky. Yuck. So not only does Arthur do a better job of showing what to do when a child with sensory issues is overstimulated, it also provides a great analogy for what it can be like to be autistic in a society that doesn't always feel very welcoming. Let's finish the episode to see what George does to make things up to Carl. George returns to the community center, only to find Carl isn't there. George worries Carl had another panic attack after discovering the final piece of his puzzle was missing.
It'll never be complete. This is terrible.
Forget autism for a second, this is how any completionist would react in this scenario. George is relieved to see Carl is doing fine, as he already made a replacement for the missing puzzle piece, which he immediately discards when George returns the real piece. George says he has something for him, and Carl fears it's another demonic dummy.
If it's a wooden giraffe, I don't want it.
Surprise, surprise, George gives Carl a book about trains, which I believe means their souls are now bonded until the end of time. George keeps the replacement puzzle piece as a memento of his and Carl's blossoming friendship. George says Carl has taught him how to speak softer and clear, while George has taught Carl how to make eye contact with the fourth wall.
It was nice to meet you.
George says he hopes Carl can teach him how to draw a better lion, though if it looks anything like the other ferocious felines on PBS, I wouldn't hold your breath. Speaking of which, looks like everyone has ruined clocks for Max, which is like ruining water for fish. Daniel worries Max won't get to see the new clock, but his dad assures him Max will be alright.
I think the bright lights and loud sounds upset him.
And who exactly was in charge of those lights and sounds, Mr. Tiger? Daniel and his dad go outside to check on Max, who still insists he wants to see the clocks. Daniel's dad suggests they do a different version of chime time that doesn't involve bright lights or loud noises, which again is something he already should have planned for. The gang heads back inside, and Max finally allows his bus clock to be hung on the wall. The adults try to make things less stressful by lighting a bunch of open flames inside a wooden building full of paper clocks. Daniel's dad gives Max a chime so he can decide how loud he wants the music to be. He also tells the kids to rub their hands together instead of clapping. Okay, but like, why not just use the ASL sign for applause? It's already a noiseless gesture, and it looks way less maniacal than whatever Mr. Tiger is doing over here. Max helps unveil the new clock, which turns out to be a Ferris wheel of Daniel's entire class. Daniel points to a random black figurine and automatically assumes it's Max. Then again, considering there's only 5 black people in the entire show, I guess Daniel had a 1 in 5 shot of guessing correctly.
You're on the clock too, Max.
Also, not to be that guy, but the Ferris wheel is spinning counterclockwise, which seems counterintuitive, at least clockwise. So I think it's fair to say that Arthur is the much better show when it comes to autism awareness, and also just the better show in general. It's not even that Max is a badly written character, but the show goes out of its way to put the poor boy in the most uncomfortable situations imaginable. Ironically, Daniel was not the worst character in this episode. That award goes to his dad and his teacher, whose negligence caused Max to have the worst day of his life. Don't believe me? Let's review. Teacher Harriet insisted on bringing her nephew to a public event that involved loud music and bright lights, which she knew was a big no-no for Max. She barely did a thing to protect her nephew from his triggers, and was somehow surprised when he got overstimulated. Similarly, Mr. Tiger knew Max would be attending the celebration and took no precautions to ensure his festivities wouldn't overstimulate Max. He only made accommodations after giving Max a panic attack, but still had the gall to lecture his son on how to be kind and respectful to kids with autism. And no matter how good your intentions are, you know you screwed up when you make Daniel Tiger look like the good guy. F you, Teacher Harriet and Mr. Tiger. Do you remember when Daniel Tiger ruined his sister's birthday? Hey everyone, so we all know Daniel Tiger is a violent menace who wouldn't hesitate to take a swing at his baby sister, but surely he wouldn't be so petty as to get jealous of her on her birthday, right? Right?
I wish it was my birthday.
Let's take a look at the episodes featuring Margaret's birthday to see how Daniel Tiger is both a horrible brother and a birthday bully. It's baby Margaret's birthday, which means that she somehow survived a whole year without getting strangled by her older brother. The Tiger family is planning a party for the birthday girl, complete with Margaret's favorite snack, room temperature strawberries. But Daniel Tiger doesn't want strawberries.
If it was my birthday, I would have blueberries.
Well, f you, Daniel. It's Margaret's birthday, so we're having strawberries. Sorry, I came in a little hot there. I gotta save that rage for the rest of the episode. Daniel wishes it was his birthday so he could be the center of attention.
I wish it was my birthday.
Dude, you already have a whole fucking show named after you. What else could the universe possibly owe you? Daniel's dad is tired of his son's bitching and moaning, so he tells him to take it outside. Daniel drags his ass out to the backyard, where he gripes to his mom that none of the decorations match his favorite color.
I like bread.
You don't say. I never would have guessed. Daniel's mom reminds him, again, that the party is for Margaret, so it makes sense the theme would be based around her favorite color and her favorite stuffy.
She also likes Pandy the panda bear.
Yeah, what the hell is that thing? I don't care if it's a kid's toy. Its eyes look like they want to steal my soul and my credit card number. Daniel can't stand the fact that his sister is getting more attention than him and throws a tiger-sized tantrum.
Margaret, Margaret, Margaret.
Hold up, did this little really just bust out a Brady Bunch reference?
Marsha, Marsha, Marsha.
Daniel's mom tells her son to get over himself. She says that Margaret deserves to have a special day, the same way Daniel had a special day on his birthday, but the brain-dead dope still can't get the message through his thick skull.
What about me today?
Bitch, were you listening to a single word your mom just said? Not every day has to be about you. Instead of sending the cranky cub to his room, Daniel's mom caves into her son's narcissism and tells him he can be Margaret's birthday buddy, because I guess she wants to ruin her daughter's birthday party.
When it's not your birthday, what can you do? Be a birthday buddy and help out too.
Yeah, I know a birthday buddy isn't a real thing, but it still feels more reckless than the time Mrs. Puff made SpongeBob the hall monitor for a whole day.
Terrific.
What are the consequences of what I've just done?
Daniel heads into town with his dad to get baby Margaret a birthday cake. Wait, you already bought the party supplies but waited until the last minute to get the actual cake? Where the hell are your priorities, Mr. Tiger? The Tiger family gets on the trolley when Daniel drops the most out-of-pocket line in the whole episode.
I wonder if Trolley has a birthday.
Wait, does that mean Trolley has been alive this whole time? Daniel, you can't be dropping existential questions like that. You're not Spy Kids 2. Daniel then sings a song to celebrate Trolley's birthday.
Happy birthday to our friend Trolley.
Jeez, Daniel hates Margaret so much that he'd rather celebrate the birthday of an inanimate object than his own sister. The Tiger family gets to the bakery, where we see the baker has been huffing the Joker's laughing gas again. The baker says he has 3 different birthday cakes, and Daniel instinctively goes for the one that looks like his stuffed animal. What a surprise. Miraculously, Daniel shows some restraint for the first time in his life, and instead chooses the panda cake. And this would be a nice moment if he didn't immediately turn around and insist on decorating the cake by himself. Daniel makes a panda face out of berries, but can't even get the nose color right. At least he didn't go with the grapes. Seriously, who the f puts grapes on a cake? The Tiger family returns home with the panda berry cake just in time for Margaret's birthday. God only knows how Daniel will end up ruining that. Margaret's party is about to start, and Daniel won't shut up about how he's the birthday buddy. He brags about how he helped set up the decorations and design the birthday cake himself. And yeah, I get that he's recapping what happened in the last episode, but he doesn't have to be so fucking smug about it. Daniel is so egotistical that he can't even let Margaret enjoy her own birthday crown.
It's mine, but I'm letting her wear it.
I'm starting to think that Daniel Tiger and the birthday girl are long-lost siblings.
It's mine.
The party guests start to arrive, and Daniel immediately gets jealous when the kids give all their attention to Margaret.
Here's your present backwards.
I didn't realize Miss Elena was a contortionist. The other kids start to arrive and give Margaret their gifts, but Daniel Tiger wants to play. Daniel whines that nobody brought him a present, even though, again, it's not his damn birthday. And if you think I'm being hyperbolic, Daniel straight up says he wishes he could keep all of Margaret's gifts for himself.
I wish these presents were for me.
Daniel says it's not fair that all his friends are paying more attention to Margaret on her birthday. Even his own grandfather has the gall to wish his granddaughter a happy birthday. Daniel tells his grandfather he wishes the party was for him, even though it kind of already is. I mean, think about it. He invited all of his friends to his sister's birthday party and picked out the cake himself. If you add in all the birthday buddy crap, this might as well be a party for both Margaret and Daniel. The frowny Barney furball gripes that none of his friends want to play, even though there's nothing stopping him from playing with Margaret. Daniel decides to lead the kids in a game of pin the tail on the panda, and then cuts in front of everyone so he can go first. We then see Daniel help his baby sister so she can have a turn. Hey, that's cheating. I don't care if it's her birthday. We all have to play by the rules, Daniel. It's time for birthday cake, which means it's also time for the world's most ear-grating birthday song.
Happy birthday to you, Margaret.
Margaret is understandably overwhelmed by their tone-deaf shrieks and runs off crying. And while this isn't entirely Daniel's fault, he still saw that his sister was getting upset and could have told everyone to stop singing before she burst into tears.
Why do you think Margaret is upset?
Why the hell do you think, dumbass? Instead of letting his parents defuse the situation, Daniel takes it upon himself as the birthday buddy to help Margaret calm down, even though he doesn't have the best track record when it comes to helping kids who can't handle loud noises.
Clang, clang, clang.
Daniel decides the best way to help Margaret is to have everyone sing her the birthday song one at a time, because if there's anything kids love more than the birthday song, it's having to listen to it 10 times in a row. Daniel's grandfather finally agrees to play, as Daniel says he likes being Margaret's birthday buddy, even though he spent the whole day being a jealous little prick. Don't believe me? Let's review. Daniel Tiger got jealous of his little sister on her birthday and whined how he wasn't the center of attention. He took it upon himself as the birthday buddy to dictate every aspect of Margaret's party, including the party games and the design on the birthday cake. He only invited his own friends to his sister's party, but still got upset when they didn't bring him any presents. He spent the whole party pouting how nobody wanted to play with him, until his grandpa told him to quit being a mopey little dick. He then helped his sister cheat at a party game and made her cry by screeching the birthday song directly in her ear. And even though Daniel ruined Margaret's special day, just wait till you see how he ruined his own birthday. It's Daniel Tiger's birthday, and it looks like the theme of his party is birthday theme.
Do you like birthday parties?
Not if you're invited. Daniel's mom says it's time to pick out a cake. What is it with this family and waiting until the last possible second to get a birthday cake? That's like waiting until after you have the baby to build the crib. Daniel is excited to go to the bakery to pick out his cake.
You'll come with me, right?
Not if I have any choice in the matter.
I'm so happy you're here.
That makes one of us, Daniel. Daniel asks his mom if he can carry the cake by himself. His mom thinks the cake might be too heavy for him, but Daniel says he's stronger than he looks. How else do you think he carries around that big round head of his? Daniel convinces his friends to join him on his trip to the bakery, which sounds like the opening line to a Dateline abduction special. Daniel and crew arrive at the bakery, which apparently imports all its cakes from Getty Images. Daniel then sings a song about how he wishes all the cakes were alive so that they could feel pain when he eats them.
Well, I hope he picks me, cause I'm yummy, yummy, yummy.
Hey, what did I say about putting grapes on cakes? Just then, the baker pops out of nowhere to ensure Daniel and his friends never have a peaceful night's sleep. Daniel is about to pick out a cake when Oh the Owl recommends a tiger design from his book of cakes. Wait, where were you keeping that this whole time?
You can all be bakers!
Jesus, don't scare me like that, you fucking weirdo. The baker lets Daniel design his own cake, which goes about as well as you'd expect. Daniel accidentally smears some frosting on the face of the tiger cake, and instead of just wiping it off, Daniel cries that the whole cake is ruined.
I'm so disappointed. Grrr.
Daniel, you gotta stop it with the growling. I know you're a tiger, but it's not for you. Daniel's mom tells him that a mistake is just an opportunity to try something new. How do you think they ended up with Daniel in the first place? Daniel turns the smudge into a smile, and Katarina completes the cake with a set of blueberry eyes that stare directly into your soul. Daniel insists on carrying the cake all by himself, and nearly drops it on the floor. Daniel decides to shake the cake box all the way back to his house, and almost drops it several more times. Daniel wants to show off the cake to his father, who's busy putting party hats on flowers. Sure, why not? Surprise, surprise, it looks like Daniel's cake got smushed on the way home. Gee, I wonder how that happened.
Yippee! Wow! How would you feel if your cake was smushed?
Well, considering I don't throw my cake around like a jackass, I don't think I'll have to worry about that. Daniel cries into his father's arms, though maybe they should have drawn his head a little higher up. Daniel's dad says they can still salvage what's left of the cake.
What is something good about all birthday cakes?
That they're not smushed?
Okay, listen here, you little smartass. Daniel's dad says it only matters if the cake tastes good, and the two give it a taste test for good measure. Wait, now where did they pull those spoons from? Why do all the pantsless characters pull random crap out of their asses? Wait, I didn't mean it like that. Daniel's friends arrive for the party, where we see only half of them bother to bring gifts. Miss Elena reveals she has her dress on backwards. Wait, has she been wearing her dress backwards the whole show? What kind of weird-ass character quirk is that? Daniel's friends are surprised the cake looks like shit, but Daniel says he designed the cake to match his personality. Daniel's parents tell him to make a wish, though his father seems rather impatient.
Make a wish on your birthday cake, Daniel Tiger.
Calm down, Mr. Tiger. How much damage could Daniel do with one candle? Let's review. Daniel Tiger insisted on picking out his own birthday cake, and then got all upset when he made one little mistake. He insisted on carrying the cake home all by himself, but didn't have the patience or the common sense not to shake the box. He was somehow surprised when the cake got smushed and cried that his birthday was ruined. And even though he managed to salvage his cake, this wouldn't stop him from going on to ruin everyone else's birthday for the foreseeable future. F you, Daniel Tiger. Why didn't any of you tell me these two monsters were voiced by the same person?
You want to play with my Tiger-tastic car?
No, I don't have any 8s.
Hey everyone, so I've spent the past month riding the Daniel Tiger hate train at full speed, and in that time, not a single one of you bothered to mention that the original actor for Daniel Tiger was also briefly the voice of PBS's most infamous mean queen, D.W. Reed.
Put some life into it!
While this seems too confounding to be true, it also explains why so many of us took an instant dislike to this fuzzy little freak. Just to be clear, I'm not here to talk trash about a child actor who, from what I can glean, was only 10 when he signed on to do these parts. I'm just pointing out that it's a bit jarring how the dude went from voicing the most annoying brat on PBS to then voicing what would become the new most annoying brat on PBS. So now knowing these two toxic twerps were once voiced by the same person, that ultimately begs the question, which one is the bigger brat? I think there's only one way to answer that question.
I'm gonna...
Okay, maybe there's two ways to answer that question. Today, let's take a look at an episode from each show where both brats share the same voice to determine definitively which one deserves the biggest FU. Let us commence this Battle of the Brats, which is what I'll be calling this segment until Snipe Snap sends his guard cat to silence me once and for all. Let's start things off with a 20th episode of Daniel Tiger titled Katarina Shares Her Tutu, where Daniel nearly kills his best friend over a silly little costume. Daniel Tiger is going to Katarina Kitty Cat's house to play. He heads inside the mustachioed pistachio tree and joins Katarina's jungle dance, which looks and sounds like a monkey getting eaten by a rattlesnake. Hey Daniel, maybe you'd dance better if you put down the damn stuffy. Katarina decides that she and Daniel should put on a jungle-themed play for her mom. Katarina says she wants to be a beautiful dancing flower, while Daniel goes with a more obvious choice.
Roar, lion!
Wow, a jungle cat wanting to play a different kind of jungle cat. What range?
I'm king of the jungle, roar!
Actually, Daniel, despite being called the king of the jungle, most lions don't actually live in the jungle, so you can't even stay on theme. The two rummage through Katarina's toy chest to find the perfect costumes, but wouldn't you know it, they both want to wear the same outfit. Katarina says she needs the tutu for her flower costume, while Daniel argues that he needs it for his lion's mane. The two get into a tutu tug of war when Katarina's mom intervenes to keep the kids from tearing each other's throats out. Katarina rightfully points out that since it's her tutu, she should get to decide who wears it. But Daniel really wants the tutu. Katarina's mom asks if they can share the tutu, and her daughter says, that. Katarina is reluctant to give up her tutu. And yeah, you could argue she's being a bit selfish, but given Daniel's history of never wanting to share anything, I can see why she'd be hesitant to hand it over. Katarina agrees to give Daniel the tutu, but reminds him that he has to give it back.
Don't forget the getting it back part, Meow Meow. I won't forget.
Lies. The show begins, and Daniel shows off his lion costume, though honestly, his head looks less like a lion and more like an expired condom. Katarina is surprised when Daniel actually gives back the tutu so she can do her flower dance.
You gave it back, Meow Meow!
I know, I'm just as shocked as you are. Katarina asks to borrow Daniel's stuffed animal for the jungle dance. And remember what I said about Daniel never wanting to share anything?
Tigy's mine!
Daniel, you damn hypocrite. Daniel finally agrees to share Tiggy, but only after Katarina agrees to hand over the tutu.
You can take a turn.
Whoa, how did you pull off your tutu like that? Did you yank it through your stomach? The two spend the rest of the afternoon sharing their toys, and Daniel ends the episode by lying directly to the audience.
I would take turns with you because you're my friend.
Bull Daniel. So Daniel Tiger clearly has his fair share of shitty moments, but that still begs the question, is he a bigger brat than DW? On one hand, you could argue that Daniel Tiger is more poorly written, as unlike DW, he wasn't intentionally written to be an annoying little twerp, even though everything he does on the show makes him look like an annoying little twerp. On the other hand, you can also argue the writers for Arthur did too good a job of making DW the most annoying character on the show.
You built it all wrong! Did you even read the directions?
Now let's take a look at Arthur's season 16 episode, All About DW, where the demonic demon child tries to steal the limelight from her supposed best friend. Arthur says DW will stop at nothing to get whatever she wants. After 16 seasons, you're just figuring this out now? The ankle biter in question is preparing her audition for her preschool's production of Little Red Riding Hood. She has Grandma Thora play the big bad wolf, and ropes her brother into playing a rather lethargic woodsman. DW yells at Arthur for using a tennis racket instead of an axe.
You don't play tennis. I'm not going to use a real axe.
You would think Arthur would jump at the chance to swing a real axe at this little red rash. DW says the characters need to be as authentic as possible, even though she didn't give her grandma any guff for not dressing up like a wolf. Talk about putting the critic in hypocritical. The graceless gaslighter claims her brother is trying to sabotage her audition on purpose, and DW is such a bad actor, she can't even shed crocodile tears on cue. And just in case you think there's any sincerity to DW's victim act, she goes right back to yelling at Arthur until he gives in to her demands.
We will practice the scene until we get it right.
To be fair, this is going much better than their last reenactment of Little Red Riding Hood, which featured a surprising amount of vorcest.
Arthur Reed, did you eat Grandma?
In Preschool, Miss Morgan is about to announce the cast of the show, but DW assumes she already has the lead role in the bag. The egotistical egghead is so sure of herself that she doesn't even wait for her teacher to announce the lead role before making her acceptance speech in front of the whole class.
Thank you, thank you.
Surprise, surprise, it turns out Emily got the lead role, not DW. DW assumes there must be a mistake, as she persistently exudes main character energy. DW gets a long overdue reality check, as she learns she's not even good enough to play tree number 1.
Amanda's playing tree number 1.
Jeez, Amanda, take it down a notch. You're still playing a fucking tree. Real question though, has anyone ever actually played a tree in their school play? I guess it makes sense if you're doing The Wizard of Oz, but as a lifelong theater kid, I have never been in a show where anyone was asked to play an inanimate object. I don't know where this trope came from, but I can't imagine casting someone to play a part that could be swapped out with a painted piece of cardboard. Instead of congratulating her best friend on getting the lead role, DW spends the rest of the day sulking how she doesn't get to be the star. Arthur tries to cheer up his sour-faced sister, who tells him to go sit on a pine cone.
I've wanted to play this part since I was 3.5.
Grandma Thora says DW could still be Emily's understudy, which means she would get to take over the lead role if something happened to Emily. Stop giving your granddaughter ideas, Thora. DW sees this as her chance to steal the spotlight, and starts hatching up schemes to get Emily to drop out of the show. She imagines digging a moat around Emily's house, and even in her own fantasy, DW is too stupid to avoid painting herself into a corner.
Wait a minute, I'm trapped too!
Back at Preschool, we see the Tibbletarts have been cast as Grandma and the Big Bad Wolf, which is actually some clever casting on Miss Morgan's part. By having these roles played by twins, it makes more sense why Little Red might think they're the same person. Seriously though, if you can't tell the difference between a wild animal and your own grandma, your dumbass deserves to be eaten alive. DW tries to trick Emily into giving up the lead role by telling her about a show that's at the same time as the school play.
Cat Arctica, the tap dancing kittens on ice?
Sounds perfectly horrible. DW says she'd be happy to take over so Emily can go see the show. Emily sees right through the charlatan charade and tells her she'd rather be Little Red Riding Hood than go see Cats on Ice. DW then disrupts the rest of rehearsal by offering Emily increasingly ludicrous bribes to get her to drop out of the show, including a trip to Paris.
I didn't say it was Paris, France. There's a bakery called Paris at the mall.
You can't even spell Paris toi pute petite. DW decides that if she can't bribe Emily to give up her part, she'll have to think of another way to get her to quit the show. The next day, DW shows off her homemade Dick Dastardly mask. She says Emily can use it to hide her face in case she messes up during the show. Emily again sees through DW's ruse and throws her backhanded comment right back in her face. Literally, DW proceeds to ruin another rehearsal by parroting Emily's lines as she says them.
I'm on my way to Grandma's house because...
DW refuses to apologize for openly attempting to usurp Emily's role, and promptly earns herself a seat on the naughty stool. DW then blames her grandma for getting her hopes up about being the star of the show, even though Grandma Thora never told her to be an antagonizing little to her best friend. Thora tells her ungrateful granddaughter that she can't always be the center of attention. She points out how it wouldn't be fair if Emily tried to hog something that DW wanted. You mean like a dumb little bouncy ball? Yeah, that'd be really stupid. DW finally concedes that she's been acting like a jackass, and promises to apologize to Emily.
I'll apologize to her first thing tomorrow morning.
Who the f are you and what have you done with DW? The next day, the teacher reveals Emily has lost her voice, and the Tibble trolls rightfully assume DW had something to do with it.
She didn't lose it, you stole it, didn't you?
DW, how dare you make me agree with the Tibble trash? So after watching DW be a nuisance at every rehearsal, Miss Morgan makes the only reasonable decision and gives her the lead role of Little Red Riding Hood.
What? What?
DW is starting to have second thoughts about starring in the show, even though she spent the whole episode whining how she deserves to be the star. That night, DW has a nightmare where she's tormented by Emily's wolf persona and Amanda's spooky tree face.
Don't mess up.
Geez, Amanda, take it down like 50 notches. DW then dreams about getting on stage, where she's automatically heckled by the crowd, as she rightfully should be.
Well, How embarrassing!
Ironically, DW can't remember any of her lines, and Emily tells her to put on the dastardly mask so she can show everyone how much of a dick she really is. It's the day of the show, and it looks like Little Red is riding blind. The play starts, and the red-caped cretin struggles to utter a single line.
I'm Little Red Winifred.
I swear, the three little pigs could build a whole house out of all the bricks she just shat.
I'm on my way to Wolf's house.
Are they doing Jack and the Beanstalk now? Cause DW just laid a goose egg. DW goes from chewing the scenery to knocking it to the ground. Instead of letting the stupefied starlet stew in her own shame, Emily steps in to stop DW from humiliating herself any further. Not sure how that's going to be possible. Instead of rightfully reclaiming her role as Little Red, Emily instead elects to spoon-feed DW's lines to her one at a time. You know, to make things less humiliating. DW somehow manages to get through the entire show without drowning in a pool of her own flop sweat. And how does she thank Emily for saving her ass?
Next time, I'm sticking with tree number 2. It's a much better part.
Oh, go f*** yourself. So now that we've seen both episodes, let's determine which of these two terrible twerps is truly the more vicious brat. First up, we have Daniel Tiger, who insisted on hogging all of Katarina's costumes for himself. He got into a fight over a stupid tutu and only agreed to share after Katarina's mom intervened. When Katarina asked him to share his toy, Daniel refused to show his friend the same kindness. And even when Daniel finally decided to share, he only did so after Katarina agreed to let him have the tutu whenever he wanted. Up next, we have DW Reed, who ruined her preschool's play just so she could get the lead role. DW bullied her family into helping her prepare for her audition, and then refused to accept reality when she didn't get the part she wanted. Instead of supporting her best friend, DW spent the whole episode trying to bully Emily into giving up her role. When she couldn't bribe Emily into quitting, DW then tried to trick her into getting stage fright. DW's antics got so bad that both her teacher and her grandma had to tell her to cut the crap. When DW finally realized she needed to apologize to Emily, the world decided to reward her shitty behavior by giving her the lead role anyway. DW ended up getting exactly what she wanted, and then proceeded to shit the bed. DW ruined the show by flubbing her lines and tearing the set to the ground. And even when Emily helped her get over her nerves, DW never actually apologized for trying to sabotage her, and showed no gratitude for being allowed to play a role she clearly wasn't prepared for. So while Daniel Tiger may be a massive pain in the ass, I think it's fair to say DW is the clear winner of this battle.
Thank you.
Though if it was an actual fight, I think we all know how that would turn out. F you, DW. Did you know that the kid who played Daniel Tiger and DW Reed also voiced another insufferable cartoon brat?
I don't want these silly medals anymore.
Hey everyone, so after my last video about Daniel Tiger and DW, a lot of you in the comments pointed out that there's a third twerpy toddler this kid has voiced. Yep, as it turns out, before he was Daniel Tiger and before he was DW, this actor made a name for himself as Mike the Knight, a pint-sized pain in the ass whose attitude is somehow more horrible than his poorly rendered face. I vaguely remember seeing commercials on Nickelodeon for this show when it was first airing, but after sitting down to actually watch the show, it is so much worse than I ever could have imagined. Not only is Mike the Knight a self-righteous little creep, but more often than not, he ends up creating most of his own problems so he can swoop in at the last minute to save the day. He'll even put his own friends in danger if it means he can make himself look like the hero. He's like Norman Price if he was friends with an actual fire-breathing dragon. Like I said in my last video, I'm not trying to single out this one voice actor, but how ironic is it that one kid is responsible for voicing 3 of the worst cartoon hellspawns of the past decade? Someone at PBS watched Mike the Knight and said, "You know, this Mike kid is an absolute monster. Let's get the actor to voice 2 of the biggest brats on our network." Oh yeah, it's all coming together now. We've already seen what happens when Daniel Tiger and DW go head-to-head, but how does this cranky cub measure up to the ultimate knight of nitwits? Let's take a look at an episode from each show to determine which one is the bigger big-headed bully. Let's start things off with the Daniel Tiger episode, Daniel Gets Frustrated, where the furious furball pretends to be king and then throws a tiger-sized tantrum because he can't get whatever he wants. Daniel Tiger has declared himself king after leading the neighborhood in a coup against King Friday. Daniel pretends that a dragon has invaded his kingdom and decides to call Prince Wednesday to help him defeat it. Wait, you overthrew the current king but kept his heirs alive? What kind of half-assed usurper are you, Daniel Tiger? Daniel goes screaming to his mom, who tells him to slow down and take a damn breath. As king, Daniel demands his mother invite over Prince Wednesday so they can play. His mom reminds him that Prince Wednesday is out of town, and that's when Daniel gets frustrated. He said it! He said it! Daniel whines that there's no point in being king if he doesn't have any subjects to boss around. His mom shows him a baby picture of how he liked to be king, even in diapers, proving that at one point in time, Daniel did in fact wear pants. Also, this just confirms that even as an infant, Daniel demanded to be the center of attention, even when in the presence of an actual prince. Daniel next tries to play his toy trumpet, and his music skills are so bad he breaks the trumpet in half. King Daniel asks his mom to take him to Music Man's stand shop to repair the $5 plastic trumpet. Sorry, did I say ask? I meant to say that King Daniel orders his mom to take him to the music shop, unless she wants to go out like Marie Antoinette. Daniel nearly drags his mom out the door before she reminds him that the music shop is closed, and that makes King Daniel even more frustrated. Grr! Daniel is upset that he isn't allowed to do two specific things, and jumps to the conclusion that he can't have anything. Because after all, what's the point of being king if you can't get whatever you want whenever you want it? Daniel's mom tells him to think of something else to do, but King Daniel says, that.
Grr, I'm too frustrated.
His mom says that the best thing you can do when you're frustrated is to chill the hell out and ask for help. Though I think Daniel is going to need a lot more help than you can give him in 11 minutes. Daniel asks for help for the first time in his life, and his mom tells him to stay busy by feeding the fish. Though I'm not sure it's a good idea to put Daniel Tiger in charge of other living things. It seems like life has already punished these fish enough with how f***ed up their faces are. Daniel gets tired of playing God with the fish, and instead decides to lord over his mom. He drags her to his room so they can play. The two decide to make a castle out of blocks, because if there's one thing we know about Daniel Tiger, he always keeps a level head when blocks are involved. They make the castle really tall and narrow, as any sane builder would do, and Daniel insists on putting his Tiggy doll on top. Tiggy accidentally falls over, which wouldn't be too bad if Daniel's clumsy ass didn't proceed to drop Tiggy 4 more times.
Grr, grr, grr.
Daniel frowns so hard that his eyebrows threaten to break the camera. His mom tells him there's no point in getting frustrated over a stuffed animal, which would be some good advice if she didn't also lose her temper trying to balance this goddamn tiger toy on this janky-ass block tower. Like mother, like son. Oopsie doopsie. Mrs. Tiger accidentally knocks down all the blocks and assumes her son is about to lose his shit. I know that's what I'm expecting. Ironically, Daniel keeps a level head and helps his mom rebuild the castle so that it isn't a narrow, wobbly mess. The two finally get the stuffed animal to sit still, and Daniel declares Tiggy the king of the castle. Wait, I thought Daniel was the king, so did he yield his throne to Tiggy, or are the two somehow a pair of kings? Like the show, Pair of Kings. What kind of monarchy malarkey are you trying to pull here, Daniel? Daniel's dad gets home and asks to be the dragon of his son's imaginary kingdom. And seeing how the rest of the episode plays out, it feels like Mr. Tiger just wanted an excuse to chase his son around the house and destroy his shit. Can't say that I blame him. So clearly Daniel Tiger has a massive ego. He'd have to with a head that big. But I'm surprised that this is one of the few instances where Daniel actually restrains himself and prevents things from getting any worse. Perhaps there's hope for this one yet. Now let's take a look at Mike the Knight and the most medals, where the naughty knight bullies his friends into putting themselves in danger just so he can look like the hero. It's a peaceful day in the kingdom when Mike the Knight decides to visit the blacksmith.
Mr. Blacksmith!
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Blacksmith to you. It turns out Mike has been reading up on how knights earn medals and is eager to get one as soon as possible. But Mike can't just settle for one medal. No, he's got to catch them all.
I choose you!
Hey kid, get your dirty feet off the blacksmith's anvil. Mike suits up a la Iron Man, only to find his sword has been transformed into a mirror, which I guess is a running gag throughout the whole show. Sparky says Mike can use the mirror to look at himself after he's won all his medals. Though considering how big of a narcissist he is, he'll probably end up staring at his own reflection until he starves to death. Mike heads back to the blacksmith, where we see how Squirt the Dragon got his name.
Squirt?
Gross. Mike has the blacksmith make a bunch of medals so he can give them to himself anytime he does something knightly. Sparky says the medals are too heavy for him to carry, but Mike insists the bag will get lighter once he starts earning medals. Can't argue with that line of reasoning. Mike rides off without paying the blacksmith, leaving his friends to pick up the tab. Mike decides to earn his first medal on the archery course. He gets a bullseye and has Sparky pin one of the medals to his sash, even though I'm pretty sure it doesn't count unless the king gives you the medal. That'd be like grading your own paper and giving yourself an A. Mike tries to earn his next medal by hitting a moving target, and tells Squirt to fly around with the target in the air. Mike promises not to shoot Squirt by mistake. And yeah, I get that these aren't real arrows, but I wouldn't trust Mike to not hurt his friends. Mike gaslights his dragon friend into becoming a human target.
You'll win another medal! You do want that, don't you?
If you were my real friend, you'd want me to risk your life so I can win a medal I made for myself. Right, Squirt? Squirt assumes the position as Mike proceeds to shoot him not once, not twice, but 3 times in a row. But I guess it was all worth it if it means Mike can get another stupid medal.
I award this medal for not hitting Squirt.
Honestly, not killing his friend is probably the most knightly thing Mike has ever done in his entire life. Mike starts to notice how heavy the medals are in his chest, though I'm not sure how he can tell seeing how he's already wearing 10 tons of armor. Mike next tries to earn a medal by quote-unquote bravely facing difficulties, which the numbskull knight interprets to mean riding his horse through a thorny briar patch. Mike again bullies one of his friends into helping him pull off this arbitrary task, because I guess his horse counts as one of his friends. Mike weighs down his horse with his heavy-ass medals, and then forces him to ride unguarded through the thorny woods. The horse emerges forges the thicket covered ass to end with thorns and briars, but Mike assures him it'll all be worth it once he gets another damn medal.
Just think how good you'll look with a knight with 3 medals riding you.
But think how much better he'd look standing over a certain knight's shallow grave. Instead of picking the thorns off his horse, Mike demands his third f***ing medal, leaving his steed to whimper in pain. Mike is now barely able to walk with the weight of his medals weighing him down, but insists there's still room on his sash for one more participation award. It turns out the bravest thing a knight can do is rescue someone from a dangerous situation, so Mike assumes he has to create a dangerous situation to rescue someone from. Genius. He convinces Sparky to let himself get kidnapped by Vikings, since he's the last friend Mike has yet to screw over. Squirt tries to convince the young knight that he's lost his damn mind, but Mike assures him it's all for the greater good.
And it is so I can win another medal. You do want me to, don't you?
Kid, if you don't wipe that damn smirk off your face. Mike continues to gaslight his friends and forces his poor horse to drag his heavy ass down to the seashore. Mike uses Sparky to lure the Vikings ashore, who act more like feral pigeons than feral warriors. The Vikings whisk Sparky away, as only now does the reluctant dragon start to see the flaws in Mike's plan.
This isn't right!
Mike attempts to rescue Sparky, but finds his medals make him too heavy to run or fight. Gee, maybe you shouldn't have asked the blacksmith to make them so big. Eh, Mike? Mike finally realizes how big of a jerk he's been, and denounces the medals he didn't even deserve in the first place. He uses the shiny medals to lure the Vikings back to shore, and tricks them into falling in love with their own reflections. He gets Sparky to safety, and apologizes to all his friends for putting their lives in danger. Nevertheless, Sparky commends Mike for his heroic rescue, even though, again, Sparky wouldn't have needed rescuing if Mike didn't force him to be live bait in the first place. The episode ends with the minstrel singing the moral of the story, right before he's kidnapped by the Vikings and killed off screen. So now that we've seen both of these twerps at their worst moments, let's determine which one is the more pitiful protagonist. Up first, we have Daniel Tiger, who declared himself king just so he could make his friends and family do whatever he wanted. When he realized that he couldn't get whatever he wanted, he threw a massive hissy fit until his mom agreed to play with him. Things only got worse as Daniel's crappy block castle led to everyone in the Tiger family getting royally pissed off, proving that the apple doesn't fall far from the tiger tree. But as bad as Daniel was in this episode, it does not hold a candle to the sheer callous and cruelty of Mike the Knight. Mike spent the whole episode trying to give himself as many participation awards as possible so he could brag about his arbitrary accomplishments, which would be bad enough if he didn't also put his friends in danger at every step along the way. He gaslit his friends into harming themselves, also Mike could give himself a bunch of medals that were literally too big for his britches. He only regretted his actions after his friend got kidnapped and was nearly killed by Vikings, and even when Mike finally apologized for hurting his friends, he still got to feel like a hero for solving a problem that he created. And keep in mind, Mike is supposed to be 8 years old. That means he's the same age as Arthur and also twice the age of DW and Daniel Tiger. So this is one character whose immaturity can't be written off as infantile naivete. Mike may still be a kid, but he should definitely know better than to sacrifice his friends for a worthless vanity prize. With all that being said, I think it's pretty clear which one of these twerps is the more despicable delinquent. Daniel Tiger might be a self-centered attention whore, but at least he doesn't put his friends in mortal danger just so he can make himself look like a hero. F you, Mike the Knight.
Do you remember when Daniel Tiger got new neighbors and nearly scared them off in one day? The movie starts with Mr. McFeely driving a moving truck, and it looks like we're in for a musical with a capital M. Okay, a Daniel Tiger movie does not deserve this good of a soundtrack. This feels like getting the Beatles to sing Happy Birthday at your 4-year-old's birthday party. Mr. McFeely drives the truck through a magical portal to the land of make-believe. Looks like we're operating on Thomas and the Magic Railroad logic. Not sure that's the movie you want to be imitating, Daniel Tiger.
Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle.
The 48-minute movie spends the first 3 minutes introducing the audience to characters we already know. Daniel Tiger is surprised to see the movers parked outside the house next door.
What's that?
It's a truck, Daniel. You know, big metal box with wheels. Your buddy Max can tell you all about them.
What do you think is in those boxes?
I don't know, but I'm not sure you want to find out.
What's in the box?
Daniel is excited to show his dad the truck, even though he doesn't appear to have any idea what kind of truck it is.
It's not a dump truck. It's not a cement truck.
Daniel, do you really not know what kind of truck that is? What are they teaching you in that preschool of yours? Daniel is overjoyed by the idea of having a new friend to torment and insists on introducing himself before his new neighbors have a chance to unpack. When nobody answers the door, Daniel peeks through the window like a goddamn stalker. Daniel is disappointed that there's nobody inside to play. The intrusive tiger decides to tell everyone in the neighborhood about his mysterious new neighbors. He tells the baker, who plans to give them this loaf of banana bread that's been carved into the shape of an ass. Daniel and his dad go full Paul Revere, running through the street shouting, "The neighbors are coming! The neighbors are coming!" They tell everyone from O the Owl to Prince Tuesday, who appears to be moonlighting as a crossing guard for some reason. I'm just saying, you don't see Prince William doing volunteer work while he waits for his dad to die. Wait, Mr. McFeely, if you're here, then who's watching the moving truck? Daniel and his dad run to the top of the clock factory to spread the good news.
Neighbors are coming.
Hey, Mr. Tiger, you forgot to put hands on the clock tower. How is anyone supposed to know what time it is? The whole town joins in singing another song that is way too good to be in this movie.
We can't wait to see the many holiday shows.
Daniel and his dad are so excited that they somehow run all the way back home to tell his mom and baby sister about their new neighbors. Daniel asks his mom if he's ever had to move.
No, you've always lived in this house.
But you're welcome to move out as soon as possible.
Let's make believe we're moving.
Why make believe? I'll even help you pack. Daniel then imagines what it'd be like to live all around the world, from the big city to the Arctic to even the moon, which still doesn't feel far away enough for my comfort. Daniel finally gets a glimpse of his new neighbors.
The box is in the way.
Yeah, no shit, Daniel. The mysterious stranger heads inside, but not before a random object falls out of their moving box. Remember this moment for later, because while this might seem like an inconsequential detail, this will end up being the catalyst for the whole damn movie. The Tiger family brings a bundle of sunflowers to their new neighbors, who turn out to be a family of platypus. Platypussies? That can't be right. The matriarch of the house introduces herself to Daniel Tiger.
I'm Dr. Platypus. You can call me Dr. Platt.
That's Mrs. Dr. Professor Platypus. Oh wait, I already made that joke in the last video. Daniel says he's never met a platypus before, while the doctor admits she's never met a tiger before. And by the end of this movie, I'll bet she'll be wishing that was still the case. Dr. Platypus invites the Tiger family inside. Mistake number 1. And Daniel says the house looks like shit.
It's so empty.
Come on, Daniel. At least give them time to set up before you start ragging on their interior decorating. Daniel takes a look around the house when he makes a startling discovery.
But I already found you.
Oh god, they have their own version of the Tibble trash.
Do you know what twins are?
Unfortunately, yes, Daniel. I know quite a bit about twins. Margaret quickly makes friends with the duck-billed buffoons, while Daniel whines that there isn't someone his own age around who can play. Or is there? Daniel finds Dr. Platypus has an older daughter named Jody. Jody takes one look at Daniel Tiger and decides to hide from him forever. Good thinking, Jody. Turns out Jody also lives with her grandma, though we never find out what happened to Jody's father, who I imagine had to enter witness protection after accidentally killing Dr. Doofenshmirtz with his own innator. Jody shows off her new room when Daniel starts to do the potty dance. Daniel ends up using the platypus's bathroom before they even have a chance to break it in. Jody's mom tells her it'll be fun to have Daniel as a new friend. And even Jody's like, "Mom, what have you been smoking?" Jody admits to her mom that she's nervous about the new house, so her mom helps her unpack to cheer her up. Daniel gets back to find Jody and her mom are almost done setting up her room. Damn, Daniel, how long were you in the bathroom? Daniel insists on helping Jody unpack the rest of her belongings.
I'm a really good helper.
Bullshit. The two quickly get distracted when Jody pulls out her toy trains, and honestly, I can't blame them for that. Seriously, who doesn't love trains? They open the next box to find a strange surprise inside.
It's fluffy and brown.
Gross. Turns out Jody has a stuffed hedgehog named Benji. Jody says that Benji is sad about having to move to a new neighborhood, and Daniel is too dense to comprehend the very obvious metaphor. Daniel then helps himself to Jody's stuffies without her permission. Seems par for the course. Jody reveals she has to share her room with her twin brothers. Jody, you poor bastard. Daniel wonders what it'd be like to share his room with baby Margaret, though I imagine it could only end with a trip to the hospital. The two next decide to build a fort outside with the empty moving boxes, leaving the adults to finish unpacking by themselves. Rude. They build a tunnel connecting their two houses, and color the inside with the crayons Jody keeps in her shirt pocket.
I love Jody's special pocket.
Geez, Daniel, it's just a pocket. It's not like you have to marry it. Daniel tries to draw the sun, but gives up halfway through. Jody next draws a picture of her old house, though I'm not sure I can show it on YouTube. Jody then sings a song about how great her old neighborhood used to be, though any neighborhood without Daniel Tiger is a huge improvement.
This is where I used to live.
Platypus-tastic!
Come on, Daniel. Platyperfect was right there. Jody admits she misses her old home and wishes she could go back, but Daniel feels the exact opposite way.
I'm glad you're here with me in our tunnel.
That's not at all creepy. Thankfully, Jody's mom comes back before Daniel has a chance to turn the tunnel into a scene out of The Lovely Bones. Turns out while Daniel and Jody were dicking around outside, Dr. Platypus finished unpacking everything in her daughter's room. Jody is astounded until the venomous vermin claim her bed for themselves. Daniel also makes himself at home on Jody's bed when the troublesome twins steal her special pillow. Daniel tries to chase them down when Jody realizes her favorite bedtime book is missing. Jody and her mom scour through the pile of photoshopped pillows looking for the book. Jody starts crying that her favorite book is gone forever when Daniel storms in acting like the oblivious little twerp he is.
I got the cozy back.
I had to maul both your brothers to get it, but at least you'll have the whole room to yourself now. The Tiger family offers to help find Jody's book, even though they can't seem to keep track of their own baby.
I'm a helper tiger.
Daniel, you've been in their house for 20 minutes and the only thing you've helped do is clog their toilet. Both families unpack all the boxes while the beaver-tailed brothers try to indoctrinate Margaret into their evil ways. They finish unpacking and Jody's book is still nowhere to be found. But nuts to that plotline, the platypuses are invited to a party.
Speedy delivery! Speedy delivery!
Jody and her family are invited to a welcome party in the Enchanted Garden, where Mr. McFeely says there'll be a special surprise waiting for them. And that's gonna be a big old nope from me. I've seen enough A24 movies to recognize a cult when I hear one. Daniel is excited for the party, but Jody says she doesn't want to go and runs off crying. Daniel searches the whole yard trying to find her. Gee, I wonder where she could be. Daniel finds Jody hiding in the cardboard tunnel, and instead of leaving her alone, insists on cheering her up himself. Good luck with that. Jody admits she's too upset about her missing book to think about the party, and worries she'll never sleep again if they can't find it. Jody also says she misses her old home and friends, and fears she'll never feel at home in her new house. And only now does Daniel realize he isn't emotionally mature enough to have this conversation.
Oh.
That's the O of someone who just discovered that other people have problems that don't revolve around him. The only thing Daniel can do is offer to find Jody's book, and everyone else agrees to help. The two scour the whole house looking for the book.
It's not here.
Why the hell would it be under the cardboard tunnel? You definitely would have felt it if that was the case. The two look all over the yard for Jody's missing book. Gee, I wonder where it could be.
Jody, is this your book?
Yep, as it turns out, the thing we saw fall out of Jody's moving box was in fact her favorite bedtime book. Who could have seen that coming? Turns out Jody is a big fan of the Tiggy adventure books, and Daniel is thrilled to have a friend who we can nerd out with about this Indiana Jones wannabe. Just then, Trolley arrives to take the two families to the party, and Jody points out how fucking weird it is to have a sentient train car that can magically show up wherever you need it. The group gets to the garden, where we see everyone in the neighborhood has gathered to welcome Jody's family. Hold up, bananas do not grow on fucking trees. Maybe the next movie should be about Daniel Tiger looking for a book on botany. The neighborhood welcomes Jody's family with a song, and are we 100% sure this isn't a cult movie?
And I'm going straight to church.
Jody is understandably freaked out and tries to make a run for it, but her mom tells her to stay. Mistake number 2. Daniel convinces Jody to introduce herself to everyone, which backfires almost immediately when the wind starts tearing out the pages of her book. The other kids help Jody keep all the pages from blowing away.
And I'm twirling it to you.
Katarina, I think you can help without doing a goddamn twirl. Jody meets Prince Wednesday and offers him a rock for his collection.
Boop-she, boop-she, boop.
What the hell kind of nonsense catchphrase is that? Jody gathers all her new friends to read them her favorite book. As it appears, all the pages have magically glued themselves back together. The kids have a great time at the party before everyone gathers in the streets for the big surprise. Daniel nearly blocks the surprise with his big round bowling ball head, as we see the night sky light up with fireworks. Jody says she's excited to read her book in her new room, even though she just acted out the whole damn story for her new friends. The tiger and the platypus family ride Trolley home, leaving the rest of their neighbors to walk home on foot. Rude. The families get back home, and Jody says she's glad to have Daniel as a friend. Mistake number 3. Daniel is surprised Jody considers him a friend, as am I, and rushes home to spy on her through his bedroom window. What a way to end a movie. So normally this is the part where I would recap the story and highlight every shitty thing Daniel does before giving him a big FU. But honestly, Daniel isn't nearly as bad here as he is in the rest of the series. Hell, this isn't even the worst thing Daniel does to Jody in the show. I actually think this is a really good tale about how difficult it can be for a kid to move to a new place and make new friends, though I'm not sure they needed the whole 50 minutes to tell the story. Even with the musical numbers, I'm sure they could have boiled this down to 30 minutes without missing a beat, but as is, it's still a pretty good little musical for kids. It's nowhere near as good as any of the Arthur holiday specials, or even the Caillou holiday special for that matter, but any movie with Daniel Tiger in it that doesn't make me want to poach this little twerp by the end is a win in my book. Let's just be grateful this movie was under an hour. Could you imagine if they gave Daniel Tiger a feature-length animated film?
I hope that you are proud of you too.
Oh dear God, no. Do you remember when Daniel Tiger's friend nearly ruined Halloween because she couldn't pick a costume?
I don't want to dress up anymore.
Happy October, everyone. In honor of the spooky season, I thought it'd be fun to cover Daniel Tiger's Halloween special, which is also the worst Halloween special I've ever seen. For one thing, they don't even call it Halloween in the show, because I guess PBS stands for Pagans Bemoaning Secularism. Instead, it's called Dress Up Day, or DUD for short, which pretty much sums up how I feel about this special. Not only are Daniel and his friends absolutely insufferable in these episodes, but the depiction of Halloween itself goes against everything kids and adults love about the holiday. So let's tear into this Halloween special to see why Daniel Tiger deserves all tricks and no treats. The episode opens with Miss Elena and Katarina Kitty Cat playing with a box of costumes, when Daniel Tiger jump scares the audience dressed like an elephant, which is an image I'll certainly never forget. Honestly, Daniel, you look more like a Vegas showgirl than an elephant. Just be careful which way you swing that trunk. Daniel explains that it's dress-up day, a day when all the kids in the neighborhood dress up so they can show off their costumes on their parents' Instagram reels. Miss Elena decides she wants to be a robot, while Daniel thinks about being a baker like Baker Acre, though your smile isn't nearly creepy enough to pull that off. Katarina says she wants to be a firefighter, which should be fine as long as Norman Price doesn't move into the neighborhood anytime soon. Daniel Tiger finally settles on a costume. I'll give you one frickin' guess what it is.
Tiggy the Adventure Tiger!
What a surprise. As it turns out, Miss Elena just so happens to have all the pieces Daniel needs to make the perfect Tiggy costume, though that doesn't stop the smooth-brained buffoon from taking his sweet time putting it on.
Which one is a hat like Tiggy's?
God damn it, Daniel, it's right in front of you. Even the 4-year-olds watching this on their mom's iPads are screaming, "Use your eyes, dumbass."
I'm brave and strong!
Oh, so I guess it's Halloween and opposite day. Daniel spies around the room using his hands as binoculars, and good God, what the hell is wrong with your hands? Why? Why, PBS? Why would you make Daniel Tiger photorealistic? His hands look like the inside of Fozzie Bear's asshole. Miss Elena and Katarina gas up Daniel to make him think he has the best costume in the whole world.
I like your costume, Toots.
Did she just call him Toots? When's the last time you heard anyone under 20 call another person Toots? Just then, Katarina ditches her fireman's hat so she can be a sparkly caped superhero instead. Katarina uses her imaginary superpowers to rescue this baby doll, but doesn't bother to stop the assassination of Abe Lincoln. The kids are almost ready to go until Miss Elena realizes she doesn't have a robot costume.
Did you find a robot costume? No, Toots.
Knock it off, Miss Elena. Seriously, she calls everyone Toots like 10 times throughout the episode.
Toots? No, Toots. Toots, Toots, Toots.
Here you go, Toots!
Miss Elena grumbles that she can't be a robot if she doesn't have a robot costume. Her mom tells her that if she wants to be a robot so damn bad, then she can make her own costume.
Boomerific!
Did she just say boomerific? That sounds like a backhanded compliment you would give your grandparents. You're not old grandpeer, you're boomerific. I'm only 67. Daniel and Miss Elena make a robot suit out of cardboard and glitter paint, while Katarina insists on another costume change. Now she's Katarina Ballerina, which sounds dangerously similar to Angelina Ballerina. Because if there's one thing PBS needs, it's another bossy ballerina brat.
I'm only shouting because nothing's going right!
Miss Elena finishes her robot costume, and it looks like the kids are finally ready to hit the streets. But not before Daniel insists on singing a stupid little song, where we see Miss Elena has her own fox persona. Daniel and Miss Elena are ready to head out the door, but Katarina still can't settle on a costume.
Meow meow, I'm not ready.
God damn, child, make up your mind. Instead of picking a costume, Katarina says she doesn't want to dress up anymore.
I can't pick one thing to dress up as, so I don't want to dress up anymore.
Fine, good riddance, you little shit. We'll have fun trick-or-treating without you. Miss Elena points out that Katarina doesn't have to dress up as just one thing, and can pick any costume she wants.
You don't have to pick just one costume, Toots.
You know what? I'll let that one slide. The kids wait with bated breath for Katarina to unveil her final form as Super Firefighter Ballerina Katarina, whom I assume is a superhero who has the power to either start or put out fires with her ballet moves. Oh, and also she's a mommy, because why the hell not?
I like it, Toots.
Stop calling people toots. It's not cute, it's fucking weird. The kids decide to kill time before the dress-up day parade by doing a fun little dance. And of course, Katarina has to make it all about herself.
And now, what you've all been waiting for.
You know what, Katarina? You have been the absolute worst in this episode. Don't believe me? Let's review. Katarina took her sweet time picking out a costume, and constantly went back and forth on which outfit would make her look like the biggest attention whore. When she couldn't make up her mind, she decided to forego the holiday altogether, until her friends pointed out that she can be whatever the hell she wants, since it doesn't even matter in the first place. And even when Katarina finally settled on a costume, she still insisted on making herself the center of attention. But as bad as Katarina was at picking a Halloween costume, it's nowhere near as bad as how the Daniel Tiger show butchers Halloween itself. It's almost time for the dress-up day parade, but Daniel Tiger is nowhere to be found. Instead, we're introduced to this random adventure tiger.
It's really me.
Daniel the Adventure Tiger! The rest of the kids gather by the clock tower to go trick-or-treating at 4 in the afternoon, like a bunch of weenies. Oh, the owl shows off his traffic light costume, as he's apparently waited all year to dress up as the thing my dad cusses out on his daily commute. Daniel's mom hands out sticker books to all the kids, including Prince Wednesday, who appears to be dressed as a giant chunky booger.
I'm a rock. Rocks don't have arms.
Oh, my mistake. The prince is cosplaying as the annoying friend who insists on staying in character the entire time. Fucking fantastic. As a traffic light, Oh the Owl decides it's his job to tell everyone when they can and can't move. He cuts to the head of the parade line and orders Trolley to stop dead in their tracks.
Stop, Trolley!
Let's see him try to pull that crap with a real train. Daniel points out that Trolley is dressed up with a bunch of cardboard flowers, which begs the question, did someone put the flowers on Trolley? Or does the tram car have a set of arms that the rest of us can't see? The world may never know. Apparently, the O in Owl's name stands for obnoxious, as he forces his friends to play red light, green light the entire time.
Red light, stop.
Now I want to see these kids play actual red light, green light. The ornery owl says he wishes he could be a traffic light all the time, when he's forced to come to a complete stop. Oh, the owl accidentally trips and tears his costume, which would be upsetting if his costume wasn't already torn before he tripped. Oops. Oh, the owl cries that his costume is ruined, as he goes from looking like a traffic light to the world's saddest snow cone. Oh doesn't even bother trying to fix the very simple tear in his costume, and says that if he can't be a traffic light, then he doesn't want to dress up at all. Where have I heard this one before? Daniel convinces his friend to still go trick-or-treating. The kids get to Mr. McFeely's house, and Daniel Tiger busts out his Comic-Con pose. Alright, now it's time for some treats.
Stickers!
Whoa, 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 what the hell is this crap? Where's the candy? You're telling me these kids got all dressed up and the only thing they get from the mailman are free stamps? What a ripoff! Mr. McFeely hands out his bullshit treats, while O gripes about his torn costume. Gee, if only he had something sticky to stick the pieces back together. Prince Wednesday still refuses to use his arms, so Daniel's mom is forced to collect his sticker for him. Though if he has no arms, that means there's nothing stopping the other kids from kicking his ass. Hint, hint. The kids move on to the next house, while Daniel imagines dressing up as the scariest thing he can think of, a superhero and a policeman. Seriously, could you imagine how much damage this little twerp could do with the power to fly and stop and frisk? Daniel tries to cheer up O, but the bad-tempered bird says he'd rather dress up as nothing than try to think of another costume, which is a shame because O would make the perfect Debbie Downer. The kids stop by Miss Elena's house to get some more lame-ass treats.
Happy birthday! Guess my costume. 1, 2, 3.
That doesn't even rhyme. The kids collect their stickers as it looks like even the adults are getting sick of Prince Wednesday's rock gimmick.
Prince Wednesday, don't you want a sticker too?
Not Prince Wednesday. I'm a rock.
I'm just saying, you can't get in trouble for cold cocking a rock. The kids next go to Dr. Anna's house, when O the Owl gets a new idea.
Ta-da! I'm a doctor.
I didn't say it was a good idea. O decides to turn his crappy traffic light costume into a crappy doctor costume. To add insult to injury, Dr. Anna gives O a tongue depressor as a treat, which is even worse than the stickers. This just feels like giving someone a popsicle after you've already eaten it. Prince Wednesday then insists on having the doctor guess his costume, but doesn't even give her enough time to think before blurting out the answer.
Don't forget to guess my costume. I'm a rock. I'm a gold rock.
Oh, so he's a lump of fool's gold. That makes more sense now. Hey, Prince Jackass, I thought rocks didn't have arms. Oh, thanks Daniel for helping him pick a new costume, even though Daniel didn't really do anything. The kids then run around in the middle of the street as they block all the traffic with their dumb little parade dance.
I'm a robot and I'm here from outer space.
Hold up, robots do not come from outer space. Everybody knows they come from the future, or the very distant past. Duh. The kids finish their dance as Dr. O nearly makes the prince choke on his stick. The gang heads to Baker Acres for their final dress-up day treat, and honestly, I'm not sure how this hokey Halloween could get any worse.
Everyone take a dress-up day treat!
Scratch that, it just got worse. The baker hands out fruits and vegetables to all the kids, and I am 93% sure that there are razor blades in those apples. The episode ends with Daniel trying to gaslight the audience into thinking this was the best Halloween ever.
I like to dress up all the time.
Trust me, Daniel, we've seen what happens when you play dress up with the other kids. So not only is this the worst Halloween special I've ever seen, but everyone in it was absolutely unbearable. First, we have Katarina Kitty Cat, who refused to pick a costume because she couldn't make up her mind and threatened to sit out the entire holiday, until she realized she could smash a bunch of ideas together into a singular frankenfuck of a costume. Next, we have Prince Wednesday, who not only had the dumbest costume of the group, but insisted on staying in character the entire time. He made everyone refer to him as a rock, and forced Daniel's mom to collect his treats for him like a spoiled little brat. Then there's O the Owl, who dressed as a traffic light just so he could boss his friends around. When he got one tiny little tear in his costume, O didn't even bother trying to fix it and cried that the night was ruined. When he finally did pick a new costume, it was somehow even worse than his first one. And then there's Miss Elena, who insisted on calling everyone toots, and actually that's the only annoying thing she did throughout the entire episode. I guess she gets a pass for this special. And finally we have Daniel Tiger, not just the character, but the show itself, which decided to ruin Halloween with its own dollar store imitation of the holiday. The Jungle Cat proceeded to pussify the entire Halloween season with this bullshit version of trick-or-treating, which takes place during the the middle of the day and doesn't even give out real candy. Trust me, if you tried pulling this crap in my neighborhood, your house would be covered ass to end with toilet paper and rotten eggs. So, F you Katarina Kitty Cat for taking forever to pick a costume. F you Prince Wednesday for taking your costume way too seriously. F you Oh the Owl for crying over spilt milk and waiting until the last second to try to fix your costume. And of course, for ruining Halloween by turning the spookiest day of the year into a boring baby bitch parade. F you Daniel Tiger. Do you remember when Katarina Kitty Cat lost her temper and tried to beat up her best friend?
I am so mad! Meow meow!
Hey everyone, so for the past 3 months, I've gone down a bit of a Daniel Tiger rabbit hole, or tiger hole I guess. I've talked about some of Daniel Tiger's worst episodes, which show just how abhorrent this fuzzy-headed freak can be. But as bad as Daniel Tiger is, you all claim that Katarina Kitty Cat is even worse. And after watching Katarina Gets Mad, I'd say she definitely gives Daniel Tiger a run for his money.
No! I want the triangle meow meow!
So today, let's tear into Katarina's worst episode to see if this cantankerous kitten is truly more despicable than this puffball parasite. Daniel Tiger is excited to see the new instruments at Music Man Stan's music shop. In fact, the atonal twerp has been practicing on his drum set all morning. Sorry, did I say practicing? I meant to say he's been banging on his toy drums like a rabid circus monkey.
Boom, boom, boom!
They get to the music shop, where Daniel proceeds to rub his grubby little paws over every single instrument. The rest of the kids arrive, and Mr. Tiger decides to leave poor Stan to deal with this horde of harebrained hellraisers by himself. Though to be fair to Mr. Tiger, he does have to put up with Daniel's crap for the other 23 hours in the day, so I guess he's earned a bit of a break. Miss Elena's dad tells the kids to line up so they can each pick an instrument to play. Katarina is too busy twirling to notice the line has already formed, but that doesn't stop her from cutting in front of everyone. Katarina waltzes to the head of the line, and even Stan calls her out for being an attention whore.
Katarina, you were first last time.
Katarina says she doesn't care that she cut in front of everyone and demands to pick her instrument first.
I want to be first today, meow.
Oh boy, here we go.
I am so mad! Meow meow!
Instead of punishing Katarina's rude behavior, Stan congratulates her for choosing verbal aggression over physical aggression.
Good job using your words.
Stan, don't tell her good job, she's being an asshole. Stan tries to get her to calm down so they can talk things through, but Katarina just tells him to f off.
I'm too mad to be calm!
You see, this is why you should be allowed to use the belt on other people's kids. Stan tells Katarina to count to 4 to help her calm down, but the bossy ballerina has to be super f***ing extra about it.
1, 2, 3.
You can't solve all your problems with dancing, Katarina. This isn't Footloose. Katarina is finally calm, but still demands to go first.
So, can I be first?
Stan finally takes a stand and tells Katarina to take her greedy ass to the back of the line, but not before she gives Prince Wednesday the most half-assed apology she can muster.
Sorry, I yelled.
No, you're not. The kids make their picks one by one, as only now does Stan start to regret giving his instruments to a bunch of tone-deaf toddlers.
That was quite loud.
Katarina slowly inches closer to the front of the line when Miss Elena picks the triangle. But wouldn't you know it, Katarina also wants to play the triangle. So seeing how Katarina just learned about keeping her temper in check, surely her reaction won't be overblown, right? Right?
No! I want the triangle meow meow!
Why am I not surprised? Katarina absolutely goes off on Miss Elena, who tells the prissy pussy to back off.
I picked the triangle.
Yeah, I mean it's not like Katarina made it clear that she wanted to play the triangle beforehand, right?
I want to play the triangle. I still hope I get the triangle. I really want the triangle. Please let me get the triangle.
Okay, there's no way Miss Elena didn't hear Katarina, so clearly Miss Elena is on some sort of power trip right now. Katarina is so mad that she even tries to take a swing at Miss Elena, and only now does Music Man Stan step in to keep the callous kitten from burning his shop to the ground.
It seems like there's a problem.
No Sherlock. Daniel tries to help Katarina calm down, and you know things are bad when Daniel Tiger is the voice of reason. Katarina whines how it's not fair that she can't have the triangle to play. Miraculously, Stan gets Katarina to relax once again by counting to 4, though considering how worked up she is, maybe she should try counting to 6 or 7. Katarina no longer wants to kill Miss Elena, but still insists that she deserves to have the triangle.
Can I please have the triangle meow meow?
Girl, what is your obsession with this triangle? It's not even that fun to play. I've seen more people use this hunk of metal as a dinner bell than a musical instrument. The triangle might as well be the appendix of the percussion section. Now, if we were talking about a cowbell, that would be a different story. Miss Elena stands up to the big-headed bully and tells her to get her own damn instrument. Okay, she's not quite that harsh. Miss Elena agrees to share the triangle with Katarina after she finishes giving everyone a migraine.
Your turn. Thanks, Miss Elena.
Don't mention it, Toots.
That might be the most passive-aggressive toots I've ever heard from Miss Elena. The kids then perform a song about staying calm, which Katarina proceeds to ruin with her incessant triangle bashing.
When you feel so mad that you want to roar.
So yeah, I can see what you all meant when you said Katarina Kitty Cat is absolutely insufferable. She clearly has a bad temper when it comes to sharing, to say the least. But let's see how bad she compares to when Daniel Tiger gets mad. Daniel Tiger is excited to go to the beach with Prince Wednesday so they can play.
And I have my royal shovel.
A royal shovel for a royal pain in the ass. The two imagine themselves swimming with the fishes, while I'm imagining them sleeping with the fishes. The two are about to head outside when, surprise, surprise, it starts to rain. Gee, maybe if you hadn't wasted so much time with that stupid song of yours, you could have made it to the beach in time. Mrs. Tiger is also surprised by the rain, cause I guess she didn't bother to check the weather forecast before letting her son invite his friend over for a beach day. Oops. Mrs. Tiger says Daniel can't go swimming in the rain because he'll get too wet. Wait, what?
This much rain will make you soaked and cold.
Have you ever actually swam in the ocean? It's always cold. She tells the boys they have to stay inside, and that makes Daniel Tiger so mad.
Roar!
Wow, I don't think I've ever heard a more pitiful display of anger.
Royal grumph.
What the hell was that? Daniel is too upset to think straight, and decides to spend the afternoon bitching and moaning like a preteen emo who just ran out of black eyeliner.
I'm too mad.
Mrs. Tiger tells the two to count to 4, because what stressful situation can't be resolved with math?
Why would they change math? Math is math.
okay,
Math
Dad.
is math.
The kids count to 4, but Daniel Tiger is still mad. What a surprise. The boys put their heads together to think of a solution to their rainy day dilemma.
What do you think we should do?
Guys, why are you trying to kiss right now? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with kissing your bros. I mean, we all do it. But at least wait until your mom leaves the room. The boys decide that if they can't go outside, then they should bring the beach inside. The two head to Daniel's room to gather supplies for their beta male beach blowout.
Let me know when you see shows.
Looks like the only thing missing from their makeshift beach is the sand, so the boys head outside with their beach buckets so they can moon the audience. The two big-brained beach bitches then decide to dump sand all over the living room floor, as any smart child would do. Mrs. Tiger is understandably furious at her son, and Daniel Tiger decides that now would be a great time to poke the bear.
Your cheeks are red. Are you mad?
What do you think, Daniel? Daniel is somehow surprised that his mom is upset, because if there's one thing every parent loves, it's having sand inside the house. Mrs. Tiger resists the urge to bite her son's head off. She says that sand belongs outside, because it's coarse and rough and irritating and it gets everywhere. But Daniel insists that you can't have a beach day without sand. The passive-aggressive pussy pouts that his mom is ruining his beach day, the same way his birth ruined her life. Prince Wednesday keeps the cranky cub from taking a swing at his mother by having him count to 4 again. And I'm starting to think that this counting crap isn't helping anyone.
You can't too.
Why do I need to count? You're the one who's having a temper tantrum, you fuzzy-faced piece of shit. Okay, maybe I do need to count to 4. The kids try to solve their sand snafu by once again putting their heads together. And again, I'm not sure why PBS is trying to make us ship a pair of 4-year-olds. The two royal dandies decide to use their beach towels instead of sand.
Please put the pails of sand back outside.
Okay.
Holy crap, I think that's the first time we've ever seen Daniel Tiger do what he's told. The two clean up all the sand in under 10 seconds, which is the least believable part of the episode. We all know Mrs. Tiger is going to be sweeping up loose bits of sand for years to come.
What makes you mad?
Daniel, I've made enough of these videos that you should know the answer by now. Daniel Tiger then sings the same song Mr. Rogers originally used to stop Congress from defunding PBS, which makes the ending of this episode that much more depressing.
Looks like you just earned the $20 million.
So now that we've seen what happens when both Daniel Tiger and Katarina Kitty Cat get mad, it's time to determine which frizzy furball takes the crown for colossal meltdowns. Let's start things off with Daniel Tiger, who threw a massive hissy fit because he couldn't go to the beach. When he tried to have an indoor beach day, he dumped a bunch of sand all over the house, and was somehow surprised when his mom got upset. And even when he finally got his beach day, he had another tantrum when his mother had the gall to make him clean up the mess that he created. Now let's see how Daniel's antics compare to Katarina Kitty Cat, who is both a spoiled brat and an attention hog. Katarina demanded to have the first pick of the instruments, and then tried to cut in front of all her friends. She then got royally butthurt after getting called out for line jumping and tried to gaslight her friends into letting her go first. When she didn't get the instrument she wanted, Katarina threatened to beat up Miss Elena until she agreed to share the triangle with her. And when Katarina finally did get to play the triangle, she ruined her friend's song with her off-tempo tune. So yeah, this one was a pretty close call, but I think I'm gonna have to give this one to Katarina. Daniel Tiger is definitely a selfish little twerp, but Katarina Kitty Cat is undeniably the queen of cartoon kitty temper tantrums.
Meow meow!
So, F you Daniel Tiger for tracking sand all over your house and yelling at your mom for making you clean up your own mess. And of course, for hogging all the instruments and trying to beat up your best friend, F you Katarina Kitty Cat. Do you remember when Daniel Tiger ruined Christmas?
I can't be an astronaut with a hat and mittens. I want to wear my space helmet.
Happy holidays, everyone. It seems like every cartoon brat has a personal vendetta against Christmas. Last year, I covered the special where Caillou ruined Christmas. And the year before that, I covered the special where DW ruined Christmas. So this year, I think it only makes sense to talk about how Daniel Tiger ruined Christmas for everyone in the land of make-believe. Let's start with the episode where the troublesome tiger nearly gave himself frostbite because he didn't want to put on his mittens. It's Christmas time in the land of make-believe. Or rather, it would be if they celebrated Christmas in the land of make-believe. Yeah, just like with the Halloween special, they don't actually refer to the holiday by name, even though it's clearly supposed to be a holiday special. So instead of Christmas, Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa, we instead have a secular amalgamation of all three known as Snowflake Day, a holiday that is ironically not named after this entitled little crybaby. Speaking of which, Daniel Tiger spends the morning catching snowflakes with his dad in their matching putrid PJs. Oh, so they do have pants. They just choose not to wear them in public. I see how it is. Mr. Tiger tells his son to get dressed, but Daniel Tiger wants to play. The infuriating furball refuses to change because his PJs are so comfy cozy.
Comfy cozy, comfy cozy.
Look, Daniel, you can't just sit around in your PJs all day. That's not what kids do. You think I sit around in my PJs all day? Of course I do, because I'm a grown-up. I've earned that right. Daniel's dad tells him to get changed before Miss Elena comes over, but Daniel doesn't know what to wear.
But what should I wear?
I don't know, maybe the same thing you wear in every f***ing episode? Daniel wastes half the morning trying on clothes he already owns, before choosing his red sweater. What a surprise.
It's a snowy day in the neighborhood.
Careful with that zipper, Daniel. You don't want it to snag on something. Miss Elena arrives with a pair of cardboard space helmets so she and Daniel can play astronauts in the snow. You know, that old universal childhood pastime. The two run around the house pretending to be spacemen, while their helmet holes magically change shapes whenever they turn their heads. Daniel wants to go outside so they can be snow astronauts, but his mom tells him he needs to layer up first.
We're going to play snow astronauts. So what clothes are right for that?
Maybe you could start with some damn pants. I'm pretty sure they make you wear pants in space, Daniel. Daniel's mom tells him to take off his astronaut helmet so he can put on his hat and mittens. But Daniel Tiger doesn't want to take off his helmet.
I want to wear my space helmet.
His mom says it's too cold to go outside in just his costume. And if you've ever gone trick-or-treating in the Midwest, then this is a struggle you're all too familiar with. Honestly, this should have been the plot of the Halloween special. Daniel refuses to take off his costume, even after his mom and Miss Elena warn him that he'll get cold. Daniel claims he's too stubborn to freeze to death.
Your paws are gonna get cold.
No, they won't. They really won't.
Okay, but like, you don't need to take off your helmet to put on your mittens, right? I feel like you're just being a contrarian to piss off your mom. And if she's not pissed off, then I certainly am. Instead of putting her foot down, Mrs. Tiger caves into her son's demands and allows him to freeze his ass off in the snow. Daniel Tiger is such a weenie he can't even last 10 seconds in the cold before running inside to cry to his mommy. Instead of apologizing, Daniel claims he wanted his hat and mittens the whole time. As the ferocious fibber is clearly not above gaslighting his own mom, Daniel is finally warm enough to go outside to play. Everyone gathers together to make an astronaut out of snow, though it looks like the snowman is missing a pair of space balls. The segment ends with Daniel Tiger mounting his own father, because even though this is PBS, the Tiger family does it like they do on the Discovery Channel. And if you think that's bad, just wait till you see Daniel go sledding and wimp out on the first hill. Later that day, Daniel Tiger heads over to Prince Wednesday's castle to play. Daniel's dad offers to take the boys ice skating, but Daniel is worried he'll fall flat on his ass, as he rightfully should be. They head for the skate park when they come across a giant snowy hill. Dun dun dun. Prince Wednesday is ready for his friend to go down, but Daniel worries he'll choke since it's too big and hard and curvy. Let me rephrase that. Prince Wednesday is ready for his friend to go down the hill, but Daniel worries he'll choke because the slope is too big and hard. And curvy. Looks like the jungle cat is too big a pussy to sled down the hill. Daniel then grabs his boyfriend's hand for emotional support.
I don't think I can do it. Me neither.
Okay, so I know I joked about these two being a couple in my last Daniel Tiger video, but come on. I wish I had someone who would hold my hand that tight. Daniel hasn't even done anything yet, and he's already thrown in the towel. His dad tells him that if something looks too hard, it's better to ease into it bit by bit. And are we entirely sure this episode isn't a metaphor for something else?
If something seems hard to do, try it a little bit at a time.
That doesn't even rhyme. Daniel decides to walk halfway down the hill so he doesn't have to sled from so high up, which is inarguably the worst choice he could have made. Seriously, you're gonna half-ass the snow hill? Every kid knows you either sled down the whole hill or you stick to making snow angels with the other babies. The two proceed to go on the most pathetic sled ride I've ever seen. The boys lie to themselves about how fun it was and decide they're ready for the big boy hill. Daniel spends the rest of the day riding Prince Wednesday. riding his sled with Prince Wednesday. The two take a break from their slippery slope sledding to try out the world's worst ice skating rink. Miss Elena is skating in peace until the sight of Daniel Tiger causes her to fall down in terror. The cowardly cub is too scared to try something new because he thinks it looks too dangerous. Wait, didn't you just learn this lesson like 2 seconds ago? Daniel tells his dad he's too scared, and holy crap, is he wearing socks? I don't know why that's so surprising to me. Like, I know he wears shoes, I've just never seen him in socks. Huh, go figure. Daniel's dad gives his son the same advice he gave him 2 minutes ago, and convinces him to put on his skates. Turns out Daniel Tiger is so clumsy that he nearly falls on his ass before even stepping out onto the ice. He starts to get the hang of things when he runs face first into Prince Wednesday, which I'm sure was totally by accident. Wink wink. Daniel tries to show off his new skating skills for his mom and baby sister, which goes about as well as you'd expect.
I didn't fall, Mom! Oh,
oops.
Guess you spoke too soon there, smartass. The segment ends with baby Margaret taking her first steps. Who cares? So while Daniel Tiger may be a big-time choker, that's nowhere near as bad as the time he ruined his school play by forgetting his lines. It's finally time for the Snowflake Day celebration. The Tiger family heads to the Enchanted Garden, where they have to push the red roses to go inside.
1, 2, 3.
Anyone else mildly annoyed with the way Daniel selected those flowers? Everyone knows you go left to right, then down. None of this diagonal bullshit. Please tell me I'm not the only one upset by this.
Isn't it twinkly?
Hey, who are you calling a tweet? Oh, you were talking about the lights. My bad. Daniel runs off to find his friends, while his dad decides to quote-unquote give King Friday a hand. Looks like the lights aren't the only twinkly thing at this party. Daniel's class is putting on a show for the whole town. The terrible tiger is excited to be in the school play. Daniel says he's playing the most important role in the whole show.
It's something white, and every single one is different.
I don't know, a SoundCloud rapper? It turns out Daniel Tiger is a giant snowflake, and he also dressed up for the school play. We come to find out Daniel only has one line, and it's at the very start of the show. That's right, he's not even technically in the play. He's just there to introduce the story to the audience. He's like Rod Serling if his head was as swollen as his lungs. The show is about to begin, but it looks like Daniel's mom has something to say first.
Do you know what I like to do when I work? Sing!
Oh dear lord, please no. The special then launches into a musical number that goes on for 6 damn minutes, during which Daniel helps Katarina and her mom put up the set. Why did she paint the wall to look like a cherry Pop-Tart? Daniel also helps O the Owl make snacks for the show by dipping popcorn balls in shredded coconut. Stop. Just stop.
That's a fancy word for food.
If you don't shut up about the refreshments, I'm gonna kick you in the charcuterie. Daniel practices his one line for the show, and I swear it sounds like someone typed these lines into an AI text-to-speech generator.
I'm here to say, let's start the play.
Did you say play? Everyone gets into places for the show, while Prince Wednesday tries to hog as much screen time as he can.
Let the Snowflake Day show commence!
That's the fancy word for begin.
Shut the f up. That's the fancy way of saying shut the f up. The show is finally ready to start, but it looks like Daniel Tiger's come down with a bad case of stage fright. The petrified pussy steps out on stage and completely flubs the one line he's been saying throughout the entire goddamn special. Daniel runs crying to his mommy and says he wants to quit the show. Seems a little late for that, don't you think? He says he can't stand to have everyone looking at him while he talks. Let me repeat. Daniel Tiger, who speaks directly to the audience in every episode, can't stand to have people look at him while he talks. Get the f out of here with that bullshit. Daniel's friends remind him that the play can't start unless he says his line. The quivering cub only agrees to go back on stage if his friends stand by his side the whole time. What a weenie. Daniel manages to get through his line, and the crowd applauds him for not shitting his pants. You, Daniel, you did not earn that bow. The rest of the show carries on like normal, which isn't saying much considering this is still children's community theater.
Boopsie boopsie boo.
Prince Wednesday, stop trying to make boopsie boopsie boo happen. It's not going to happen. All of a sudden, the lights go out during the middle of the show. Oh well, I guess that means the special is over. See you all next time.
And I say, hey!
Just kidding. Daniel has everyone in the crowd turn on their snow lanterns to light up the stage. The day is saved as the rest of the play goes off without a hitch. The special ends with everyone in town lighting up the sky with their festive paper pollution. Happy Snowflake Day, motherfuckers. So while Daniel Tiger may have saved the school play, that doesn't erase the fact that he was a massive pain in the ass for the rest of Snowflake Day. Don't believe me? Let's review. Daniel Tiger yelled at his mom for trying to make him wear his hat and gloves in the snow. He refused to bundle up and almost immediately gave himself hypothermia. He then chickened out on both the sled hill and the ice skating rink, because I guess Daniel Tiger is allergic to fun. He was only able to conquer his fears after finding a less fun way of doing each activity. And to top it off, he spent all day hyping himself up as the star of the school play, only to completely bomb his one and only line. So while the show may not not celebrate Christmas, Daniel Tiger is definitely going on the naughty list. Merry Christmas, everyone, and F you, Daniel Tiger. Do you remember when Daniel Tiger made an entire episode where they showed little kids using the potty?
Sitting on the potty, sitting on the potty.
And I'm going straight to church.
Hey everyone, so I know I tend to get hyperbolically angry at a lot of these Daniel Tiger episodes. Getting irrationally angry at cartoons is kind of the bread and butter of my channel, but I am not kidding when I say this is the most disgusting, revolting, and downright disturbing cartoon I've ever seen. For 25 minutes, we watch Daniel and his friends learn how to use the potty, in an episode that puts the P in PBS. That sounds harmless enough at first, until you actually watch the episode and get to the scenes where they show the kids on the toilet doing their business. Like seriously, what the hell? Now I know there's certainly cartoons that are visually grosser than this episode. Hell, Big Mouth makes the show look like a masterpiece by comparison, but there's something so viscerally unsettling about watching a cartoon. A PBS cartoon where preschoolers pull down their pants to sit on the potty while making direct eye contact with the audience.
I'm sitting on the potty.
FBI, open up!
Let's close out 2025 by tearing into the most disturbing episode of Daniel Tiger ever made. Daniel Tiger is building a block tower with Prince Wednesday when the impatient prince starts to do the pee-pee dance. Teacher Harriet asks him if he needs to use the potty, but Prince Wednesday wants to play. The teacher tells him to go to the bathroom before he pees his pants, but Prince Wednesday doesn't want to go to the bathroom. He says he can't go potty until he finishes his block tower, as he apparently doesn't trust Daniel to build it without him. And honestly, I don't blame him. The petty prince refuses to move from his spot until Teacher Harriet agrees to put up a sign telling everyone not to touch his block tower, which is a total bitch move on Prince Wednesday's part. When I was in school, every kid knew you lost your claim to your blocks the second you stepped off the playmat. Prince Wednesday finally gets to the potty and whoa, I don't need to see all that.
Dude, put that thing away. They're like children here.
Okay, so a couple of things. First off, why the hell did you leave the bathroom door open? Second, did we really need a full body shot of Prince Wednesday sitting on the potty? I'm pretty sure all the 4-year-olds watching this already know how to use a potty. Like, seriously, how many animators did it take to draw the scene of Prince Wednesday dropping trow to take a piss? Imagine going to art school for 4 years only to get a job using number 2s to draw a kid going number 2. The only way this could get any worse is if they included the sound of him. Oh dear God, make it stop. Wait, why are you wiping? Boys don't have to wipe after they pee, so what are you wiping? Are you telling me that was a number 2? Because that's not what a number 2 is supposed to sound like. Prince Wednesday proceeds to wash his hands, even though no amount of soap will ever scrub this mental image out of my brain.
Did you go potty?
Who the f asks their friend that? No, Daniel, he didn't go potty. He just went to the bathroom to count the tiles. It looks like Daniel Tiger now has potties on the brain. How delightful. He wishes he could go to the potty with all his friends, which is a totally normal thing for a child to say.
Let's make believe. All of my friends go to the potty at the same time.
No. Come on, Daniel. I still have to monetize this video, and you're not making things easy. Thankfully, we don't see the kids use the bathroom in Daniel's fantasy. Still, it's weird to be relieved to not watch kids relieve themselves. Though maybe I spoke too soon, because now it looks like Daniel needs to go potty. But Daniel Tiger wants to play. He says he can't abandon his block tower to go to the bathroom. Where have I heard this before? Prince Wednesday agrees to help Daniel by putting a sign on his set of twin towers to stop people from knocking them down. Where was this sign 25 years ago? Daniel makes a beeline for the brown line, and also doesn't bother to close the damn door. For God's sake, who raised these heathens? We're then treated to a delightful medley of Daniel singing to himself while he pees.
Sitting on the potty, sitting on the potty.
Trying to cut my ears off, trying to cut my ears off. Look, I'm no prude. I get that it's important to teach kids how to use the bathroom, but do we really need each part of the process shown to us by a horde of cartoon toddlers? It's bad enough Daniel Tiger doesn't wear pants. We don't need to see what he's working with. Daniel gets back from the potty to finish building his Spinal Tap reference, when we're then subjected to another damn song about everyone using the potty. We see Miss Elena dressed as an astronaut, though thankfully she doesn't try to use her suit as a bathroom, like real astronauts do. And even though this footage is from a kid's show, I'm genuinely concerned about how much of it I can show on YouTube without the video getting age restricted.
If you have to go potty, stop and go right away.
So to cut this episode a little bit of slack, at least they're just cartoon characters. I mean, it's not like they would show real kids using the bathroom.
Flush and wash and be on your way.
Oh dear God, no. So after the song, the episode transitions into a short live-action segment, which is just a worse version of A Word From Us Kids. The segment serves as a live-action music video for the song featured in the episode, where we see a bunch of kids and their parents, you guessed it, using the bathroom. Luckily, someone on set realized it would probably be a bad idea to film children using the bathroom and putting it on TV. Still, I'm not sure they needed to show the kids dangling their legs on the toilet. I feel like showing them walking into the bathroom and then cutting to them flushing gets the message across just fine, but that's still not as bad as when Daniel Tiger nearly pissed himself in front of his dad. The episode opens with what sounds like someone strangling a swan. Turns out Mr. Tiger's trumpet is all jacked up, as he's clearly repurposed it into a torture device. Dear Lord, please stop. They decide to take the broken brass to Music Man's stand shop to get repaired, but Daniel's dad tells him there's something he needs to do first.
Go to the bathroom.
Damn it, not this again. Daniel rushes to the bathroom in a scene that feels way too creepy, even by this episode's standards.
Sitting on the potty, sitting on the potty.
Jesus, Daniel, don't look at me like that. I don't need you making Nala eyes at me while you're trying to be prepared. Daniel and his dad get to the music shop, where they're greeted by Music Man Stan.
It's a tiger twosome.
Please don't call it that. Stan agrees to fix Mr. Tiger's busted-ass trumpet before he drives the whole neighborhood deaf. Stan tries to show Daniel how to play the trombone, but the timid tiger has something else weighing on his mind, and his bladder.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, looks like Daniel Tiger has to go potty again. He tries to tell his dad, who's too busy acquiring a taste for freeform jazz.
I'm a trombone tiger.
Mr. Tiger finally picks up on his son's bursting bladder ballet, but Daniel says he's going to hold it until he gets home, because no kid has ever peed themselves trying to hold it until they got home. Not once. Ever. Daniel's dad says he can go to the bathroom right now. Wait, like right now where you're standing? I don't think Stan would appreciate that very much. Daniel is surprised to learn there's a bathroom inside the music shop, because I guess Daniel Tiger has never been inside a building before.
I'm sitting on the potty.
Jesus, kid, could you at least cross your legs if you're gonna stare at me like that? Daniel finishes peeing, but decides he doesn't want to leave the bathroom. Instead of doom scrolling on his dad's iPad, like a typical 4-year-old, Daniel uses his bathroom time to imagine everything in the room singing to him while he takes a dump. I bet that toilet paper wouldn't be smiling if he knew what Daniel was gonna do to his face. Daniel finally leaves the bathroom, and his dad congratulates him for not pissing all over the toilet seat. Music Man Stan tells Daniel that there are bathrooms in all the buildings in town, which is apparently the most mind-blowing thing this clueless cub has ever heard. Stan proceeds to list off what I have to assume is every bathroom in town he's ever used, before publicly announcing that he also needs to take a piss. TMI, Stan. Just go. While Stan is away, Daniel sings another damn song about going to the bathroom, where he uses the potty no less than 4 times in 1 minute. That's too many times, Daniel. You might want to get your prostate checked. Stan tells Daniel to come back anytime he needs to use the bathroom, which is a totally normal thing to say to a child. Daniel and his dad head home, where the feral furball asks the audience a rather inappropriate question.
Where have you used the bathroom?
Why the hell would you ask me that? I'm not gonna tell you, you little creep.
Ugga-mugga.
Ugh, don't touch me. I know where your hands have been. So yeah, if you couldn't tell, this set of episodes really got under my skin. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with teaching kids how to use the bathroom and clean up after themselves, but you don't have to show children actually using the toilet to get the message across. Or if you are going to show them in the bathroom, at least crop it from the waist up. But all the same, I think it's fair to say this is the most disgusting episode of Daniel Tiger ever made. Don't believe me? Let's review. Daniel Tiger and his friends repeatedly drew attention to themselves whenever they needed to use the bathroom. They forgot to close the door more than once, and insisted on making eye contact with the audience while they used the potty. Daniel even fantasized about using the potty with all his friends at the same time, and sang several songs about the joy of dropping trow to take a piss. And while this episode isn't nearly as awful as something like Big Mouth or Sanjay and Craig, it's still upsetting to think about all the little kids who had to watch this ferocious furball drop a deuce. F you, Daniel Tiger. Do you remember when Daniel Tiger tried to fight his dad and got the beating of a lifetime?
You turned my sock into a puppet. Urgh.
The episode begins with Daniel Tiger showing off all the letters he stole from his neighbors' mailboxes. His dad says they need to return the letters to the post office before they get arrested for mail fraud. Mr. Tiger makes it clear that time is of the essence, but instead of taking the trolley, Daniel demands that they walk to the post office, because God forbid Mr. Tiger should be allowed to complete his errands on time. They walk past the playground, and as tempting as it is, Daniel understands that the post office is more important. Just kidding. Obviously, Daniel Tiger wants to play. His dad reminds him that they don't have time to stop at the playground, and that makes Daniel Tiger so mad.
I really want to play on the
ground. Grr!
The ferocious furball threatens to burn down the playground until his dad tells him to chill the hell out. Daniel does his stupid little breathing exercise, which I'm guessing isn't that effective if he has to do it in every f***ing episode. Daniel is finally calm and proceeds to do the last thing I ever expected of him.
I'm sorry I got mad at you.
Holy shit, did he really just say that? Did Daniel Tiger actually learn from his mistakes? Mr. Tiger says it's normal to get mad at someone you love. Or, if you're like me, it's even more normal to get mad at someone you absolutely despise. Daniel claims he isn't mad anymore, but seeing how there's 8 minutes left in the episode, he has more than enough time to f*** it up. The Tigers get to the post office, and Daniel sings a song about how he loves going postal.
I wonder where all these letters are going to go!
Go figure the Tiger would feel at home in the Amazon warehouse. Daniel and his dad head back home for lunch. Oh, so now Daniel wants to use the trolley, which is ironic because now he does have time to go to the playground. Gee, it's almost like they should have taken the trolley to the post office in the first place. The Tiger twosome get home, and that's when things go from bad to even worse. Daniel finds Margaret playing with a Tiggy doll. But wait a minute, that's Daniel's Tiggy doll.
You can't have Tiggy, Margaret.
Daniel yells at Margaret for stealing his toy and tries to rip the doll out of her hands.
Give him back!
Daniel, are you really so pathetic that you can't take a toy from a baby? Daniel Tiger is about to go postal on his baby sister when his mom tells him to do his calming exercise. Again. Really feels like they're just treating the symptoms instead of the cause. Daniel goes crying to his mom that his toy was stolen by a baby, which has to be the weeniest thing Daniel Tiger has ever done. Mrs. Tiger gets Margaret to give Tiggy back to Daniel, and the sadistic sourpuss apologizes for nearly curb stomping his baby sister. Daniel's mom then makes the foolish mistake of leaving her son in the house unsupervised.
Margaret and I have some important laundry putting away to do.
Mrs. Tiger, how is a 1-year-old supposed to help you with the laundry? Daniel Tiger wants to put on a puppet show. Go figure.
What does assassination mean?
He says Tiggy needs a puppy dog sidekick, and decides to make a dog puppet out of one of his dad's old socks. Wait, does Mr. Tiger even wear socks? I mean, I know he wears shoes, but we've never seen him put on socks. So what does he use that sock for? Daniel, maybe you shouldn't be touching that with your bare hands. Daniel shows off his new puppy puppet to his dad. Mr. Tiger is infuriated that Daniel used permanent marker to draw all over his favorite crotch snot rag.
You turned my sock into a puppet. Grr.
I'm starting to see where Daniel gets his anger issues from. Unfortunately, Mr. Tiger doesn't give his son the belt, probably because he doesn't wear pants. Instead, he tells his son how disappointed he is in him. Better get used to that feeling, Mr. Tiger. Daniel apologizes for ruining his dad's favorite sock.
I'm sorry, Dad.
Wow, 3 apologies in 1 episode. That's gotta be a record. Daniel then has the nerve to scold his dad for getting mad at him, which is pretty f***ing hypocritical, considering Daniel nearly beat the out of his baby sister just 2 minutes ago. Mr. Tiger says that no matter how mad he gets, he will always love Daniel. And I know parental love is supposed to be unconditional, but in the case of Daniel Tiger, maybe that love should be conditional.
Do you ever get mad at someone you love?
Daniel, I've made a whole career out of getting mad at people I specifically don't love. Mr. Tiger tells his son to ask him next time before he makes another puppet. That way he can give Daniel a sock that hasn't been used. The episode ends with a Tiger family gathering together to watch the most lackluster puppet show I've ever seen. And we never see Puppy Dog Puppet again after this episode, because after Daniel Tiger's untimely death, the producers at PBS decided to give Puppy Dog his own animated spin-off, which would go on to be a slap in the face to everything Daniel Tiger stood for. But that's still not as bad as the time Daniel Tiger went to the beach and tried to drown his best friend. Daniel Tiger is spending the day at the beach with his dad and Miss Elena.
Hiya, neighbor.
I'm surprised she isn't wearing her bathing suit backwards. The two go exploring in the water when Daniel straight up splashes her in the face.
Ooh, the water is salty.
Miss Elena gets her revenge by splashing Daniel back, which starts an all-out splash fight with some rather unexpected casualties.
Splash, splash is for you!
What the? Did you just splash me? Don't f***ing splash me, Daniel. Miss Elena begs Daniel to quit splashing her, but the blithering barnacle is too dumb to realize he's waterboarding his best friend. Miss Elena proceeds to tell off Daniel for being a jerk, and Mr. Tiger has to hold her back before she can skin him alive. Daniel assumes she's just mad because he got her hair wet, because as we've already established, Daniel Tiger is incredibly racist. Shame on you, Daniel. Miss Elena says she's mad at him for splashing her in the face, but Daniel points out that they were both splashing each other. And I mean, fair point to Daniel. Yeah, he splashed her first, but she was the one who initiated the splash fight. Maybe next time, Miss Elena, don't pick a fight with someone who's prepared to battle to the death. Daniel apologizes for taking their splash fight too seriously, and asks if they can still play. The two decide to build a sandcastle, and Mr. Tiger reminds them not to go back in the water without asking his permission first. Seems like a dumb rule, but okay. The kids work together to make a sandcastle, and Miss Elena insists on giving it giant pointy nipples. They put on the finishing touches when the water suddenly washes away their boob castle. Gee, maybe you shouldn't have built it so close to the shoreline. Daniel is furious that all his hard work has been flushed down the drain.
You worked so hard on
Bull. You slapped it together in under a minute. It took more time for the waves to knock it down.
How would you feel if your sandcastle was knocked down?
I would just build another sandcastle. You're on the beach, Daniel. It's not like the sand is in short supply. Daniel and Miss Elena try to stomp the sand into submission when their dad suggests they make a new sandcastle away from the shoreline. Miss Elena wants to dig a moat, so Daniel says they need to fill it with water. They run back into the ocean when Daniel's dad loses his
Daniel? Miss Elena?
Oopsie doopsie. Looks like Daniel forgot to ask his dad's permission before going back in the water, and that makes Mr. Tiger so mad.
It helps to say I'm mad.
You know, it's hard to take you seriously when you sing your feelings. Mr. Tiger says he was worried the kids might drown in 2 inches of water. And as overbearing as that may seem, I think he was more worried that his son would try to waterboard Miss Elena again. The three all go into the water together, but that doesn't stop Daniel from splashing Miss Elena. Looks like Mr. Tiger was right to be worried all along. They get the water for the moat, and the episode ends with the kids resurrecting their tower of titties. So after watching these episodes, I'm starting to think that Daniel Tiger gets a lot of his anger issues from his dad. Don't believe me? Let's review. Daniel Tiger insisted on making his dad walk to the post office just so he could have an excuse to go to the playground. When Mr. Tiger told him they couldn't play, Daniel threw a massive hissy fit and nearly clawed his dad's face off. When they got home, Daniel got mad at his baby sister for playing with his favorite toy and screamed at her until she cried. Daniel then used his dad's sock to make a crappy hand puppet without his permission and was somehow surprised when his dad got mad. Mr. Tiger yelled at Daniel for ruining his favorite sock. But unlike Daniel, Mr. Tiger was mature enough to calm himself down without threatening violence against his son. Though it's clear the damage is already done, because when they went to the beach, Mr. Tiger once again lost his temper with his son after he disobeyed his orders. This led Daniel to mimic his dad's behavior by getting angry at the beach when the waves destroyed his lackluster sandcastle. Not to mention the fact that he repeatedly attacked his best friend in the water after she told him to stop, even if she was technically the one who started the splash fight in the first place. So, F you Miss Elena for getting mad at Daniel for splashing you when you were the one who started the splash fight. F you Mr. Tiger for setting a bad example for your son and endowing him with countless anger issues. And of course, for being an impatient little twerp who threatens anger and violence against his family and friends. F you Daniel Tiger. Thanks for watching, everyone. If there's a specific cartoon you want me to watch, top-tier patrons can commission a review from my channel. You can also become a channel member to get early access to all my uncensored videos. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.
And I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. If we could learn to work and play and get along with each other.